there are moments of the game where like this is good? Question mark.
But I will be on my deathbed and I'll be
Thinking about that platform.
why? I could have been playing anything else.
It feels so good.
No.
You are get out of here. Throughout my whole playthrough, I was somewhere between bored and just mad.
This game, man. You can't just break the rules every screen.
How dare you, hamburger music? Like, I'm gonna take offense to that.
For some reason, this game like has a home in my brain and will never leave.
Fuck this game. I'm gonna beat it because I fucking hate it.
Every time I talk about this game, I sound insane. I need to do drugs. I'm a Birdman. The homing gun to shoot the lobsters.
Why are the blocks there? Why does anything exist, you know? Like, why does this game exist?
So you're trying to tell me that you think this is a joyless piece of shit?
I think this game is very, very good. One of the best games I played this year for sure.
No, dude.
All right, hello and welcome to the Halloween second edition Halloween episode of Seriously Casual, also known as Video Game Book Club. I'm here joined with not Colin, Chris, Darth, Super, and Holden. How are you guys doing tonight?
Fantastic.
Yeah, unfortunately, Colin will not be joining us. He is out sick. He's got the Bigfoot flu. He was out hiking and encountered a wild Bigfoot, and he's still recovering. But we expect him to make a full recovery. However, he is not here with us to speak about Alien Isolation, a game that we kind of came to an agreement about playing. Usually we use the picker wheel to pick our games, but for the Halloween edition, kind of came to a consensus to play what could be a horror classic, maybe? Who knows? Let's find out. So I want to just kind of say, or kind of ask the question, how many, like, has everybody seen Alien?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes.
No, but I looked stuff up about it after playing the game.
Wow.
Wow.
Go watch it.
Yeah, go watch it right now.
Agreed.
Right now.
It's timeless.
It is a perfect movie.
I would actually like to talk about that maybe later, because I literally watched it right before this, because I was like, man, it's been a while since I've watched Alien. So I literally watched it maybe a few hours ago. But yes, it is a great movie. Don't get me wrong. I'm not gonna be like it was trash. But yeah, I'm glad I did, because boy, is there a lot of Alien in Alien Isolation. Which might be a good thing. But so I feel like we need to talk about it. Alien Isolation came out 10 years ago. That's hard to believe.
It is.
Yeah, it's a 2014 survival horror game developed by Creative Assembly, published by Sega. And so I didn't play this till like way after it came out, because I bought it on a Steam sale and I played it and I was like, wow. I was like, Alien. But had any of you guys played this before Book Club?
So I played a very small amount of it before Book Club. I basically got to the first encounter with humans, hostile humans, and that's as far as I got. So not really.
Yeah, I had played the first few hours a few years ago and burned out for reasons I'm excited to get to. But
I watched a lot of Danny playing it, like probably like half the game, I want to say.
Yeah, I've had no shortage of playthroughs of this game. This was my fourth.
I hadn't played it, but it's been on my list to play for a really long time. Like for 10 years, people have been talking about how good it is, so I wanted to play it.
Well, you're welcome.
Did you, Donnie, did you play it on hard the first time?
Yes, so I did 2 hard playthroughs, and then I did a nightmare playthrough, and then this time was on hard again.
Cool.
Because like the game, well, actually, first I want to talk about. So this game was made by Creative Assembly, and did you guys know any other Creative Assembly games? Like, do you know what their thing is?
TS's.
Yeah.
I think I looked up and they're like the Shogun people.
Yeah.
right? Like,
Total
yeah.
War.
Right, yeah. That's
So,
totally.
so it's like, wait, what?
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Oh.
weird, huh?
Yeah,
It's weird.
because like I'm happy to announce like that they announced a sequel to Alien Isolation kind of as soon as we started to agree to do this.
Yep.
Those of you listening, you're welcome. You're welcome for
You're
the
welcome.
sequel of this. You're welcome for the deluxe edition of Croc and Clock Tower and whatever else we've willed into
Xanadu.
existence.
Send us
Oh,
one.
oh, don't say
Dude.
that.
No, listen.
Perfect Dark sequel.
Shortly after we did Fix It, I think, I could be wrong, Limited Run Games released carts of it.
And then that crazy person did a like full remaster port of Crusader of Senti. Like, there's, yeah. So
Oh, yeah,
we have to start putting games that we can abuse our powers with.
We're playing Bloodborne next month.
Okay, yeah. Look forward to Bloodborne. But yeah, so I feel like now we can kind of get into our first initial impressions. I'll probably go last since I have the most like time in this game. But anybody would kind of like to go first? Go ahead.
I'll go first. So, the first time I saw the original Alien movie, I was very young. And it was scary. It definitely scared me. But something else about the movie kind of took precedent, or took priority over the scariness. And it was like the pure like wonder and creativity of like just the way it looked and sounded, because Alien has its own very unique world, like aesthetic and look and sound and feel.
Mhm.
I
And
thought you were.
that- What's that?
Sorry. No, I was
Go
gonna
ahead.
say. I thought you were gonna say something about infatuation with Sigourney Weaver. Continue.
Well,
We'll
I'm
get to
getting
that.
there. Don't worry, we're getting there. But yeah, the original Alien movie especially has a very distinct, unique look and feel, and that like when I was a kid, it like captured my imagination, and I really liked it a lot. And so I've seen the original Alien movie countless times, and playing this game, like you could tell the people who made this game love the original Alien movie because it captures it perfectly. There are details so minute in this game that are captured perfectly from the movie that it's almost mind-blowing. And so I like every moment I spent walking around in this game's environments was just like I was constantly seeing things, saying, "Oh, look at that! Wow, holy crap! Look at that!" Like, it was great. I had heard this game was good before I played it, and it had kind of mixed reviews actually. Like I've heard bad things about it too, but overall, it was a great experience for me. Like it was kind of the opposite of Drawn to Life, because Drawn to Life I had to play in small bursts.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'd have gone insane. This game, I sat down and played in huge chunks because I couldn't fucking put it down.
Mhm.
I'll just leave it at that.
I can go next. So my first like exposure to Alien was my uncle was really into it. He's like a big reason why I like a lot of video games. But I watched him play a game where he played as the alien, and I got super bad nightmares. And I really was scared of the alien, and that carried through when I was playing this game, which literally made me the most scared I've ever been playing any video game, probably maybe consuming any media ever, which is really impressive. I was originally really frustrated by the game because I was paralyzed for like 60% of it. But after I really like finally got over that, I came to appreciate the atmosphere, the tension, the world building, and just even the stealth mechanics of the game. And it pretty much impressed me almost completely through and through. And it had all the great makings of a absolutely fantastic horror game. That's all.
Well said. Well said.
I'm glad that you pushed through.
And
through
I
that,
had to push through.
Yeah.
I'll talk
I think
about that later.
that's a common thing.
Holy fuck.
Chris, do you care to go next?
Sure. Like I said, I'd been looking forward to playing this game for a really long time. It's like 10 years of hearing nothing but praise, and Alien being one of my favorite movies, and Aliens is obviously an amazing sequel. I'm also a big fan of immersive sims, and while this game doesn't really qualify as immersive sim, it has some surface level similarities, at least a System Shock. That's something I've been curious about. But I hated just about every minute of this game.
Wow.
Like,
Whoa.
super disappointing. I don't think since Deathloop have I been so disappointed with the game. Though I
Interesting.
did give it at least more than the 2 hours I gave Deathloop, but I still couldn't bring myself to finish it. I got about a third of the way
Oh,
through.
pardon, I won't cut you off.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I just have a lot of parallels with that, but pardon, keep going.
Okay, yeah, I just think the gameplay loop is super boring, and I found it a total chore to play. I disliked it so much that after every session, when I tried to give it a shot, I'd be like, do I even like video games anymore? Just really bad time with this game.
I know you've said that to another game.
Interesting.
I can't remember.
Interesting.
That do I like video games anymore?
We have played
think-
some Do I Like Video Games
Definitely. Definitely.
My experience with Alien Isolation, I had watched Alien and Aliens as a kid. I want to revisit them. I was planning to before the book talk, but ended up watching the latest Alien, which was also fun because that has a lot of tiebacks to the originals, at least trying to be faithful. And it was a fun comparison to make because I think Alien Isolation has an incredible amount of passion. I think I remember one of the things that was like advertised or written about with this game was they like got access to the props of the original movie to like make accurate
That makes
proportions
sense.
to their art assets and whatnot, which is probably why it feels so great. But yeah, going back to my playthrough a few years ago, I got it for free whenever Epic gave it out for free, and I was like, oh, I've been interested in this. Played it, and I just kind of burned out. I played it on hard, and I just kept getting what I call puppy guarding, which I haven't heard since kindergarten. But basically, I was like, man, why is this alien just stalking me? I keep going in the locker, like. And the thing was, I kept treating this game like any other run-of-the-mill horror game, where it's like, oh, I'm hiding. Like, why isn't it going away? And this playthrough, I decided to do lights off, solo, really try and get immersed and treat the game with more respect than like, oh, I'm gonna just try and get from point A to point B. And when I started treating it more as like a 1v1 from every save point to each save point, the game started to get a lot more fun and interesting to me. And kind of like what Darth was saying, the AI is really good, but I think the thing that like blew me away is they only have like 3 types of AI in the game: the people, the synthetics, and the alien or aliens. And the way they mix and match those elements just with 3 like factors, so to speak, was really impressive to me compared to like not to go on too much of a tangent, but like Last of Us is kind of this like binary, oh, we're fighting humans, now we're fighting zombies. And this just mixes them and pushes and pulls and takes the tension and will completely get rid of it at times and just ramp it up to 10 when it wants. And just love the pacing. And I could go on and on about this game, but the thing that the kind of like conclusion I came to after beating it was I had so much respect at the end, but it was like a chore to get through. And I don't think I would change anything about that experience because it was like, yeah, you got to work to get off this to survive. And yeah, those are my opening thoughts on it.
Interesting.
I agree, especially with that last thing you said.
It sounds like you like, I don't know. I wish I could appreciate it in the way that you did, because obviously I feel like the things you were describing, it's sort of, maybe I didn't, like you said, treat the game with respect or whatever.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, it took me a few years later and a different mindset. And yeah, I don't know. So maybe you'll come back to it in a few years and have a different
Yeah.
opinion or whatever. But yeah,
Chris, I've literally felt the exact way that you talked about for probably the first 40% of the game.
Yeah, it's about as far as I got it. Probably less than that, probably like 30%.
Did you get to the part with the derelict ship?
No, I got to I think it was mission 6.
Oh.
I did not get far. And I was like, I do not enjoy this whatsoever.
Well, I'm very interested to hear what you have to say about why it was so unenjoyable.
So I think it's a lot of it is to do with well, the first. Okay, so there's the long tutorial part where you're, the guy is guiding you through the pipes or
Right.
the what are they called? The ducts, air ducts.
Mhm.
And then you get that first encounter with the humans where you stopped that first time. I guess it's that lobby where you have
Yeah.
that. She drops that part. So my experience with that was that it was pretty much an impossible encounter to deal with because I grabbed the part and left the room, and I had no items or anything, and like every time I would try to approach the room, like I had to go back in the way I came. I'm
Yeah,
explaining it
it's
poorly.
pretty weird the way it's
No,
scripted.
I know
Yeah.
exactly
thing,
what you're
Chris.
talking about.
Yeah,
I had
and so
to unload.
it felt completely unwinnable for me, and like the humans kill you, like shoot on sight, kill you in one or two shots, and it's like this doesn't seem very much in line with Alien at all. So what am I
know
doing here? It's
Danny
like just
still has to go, but that's a really weird blight of the game because they kind of fix that in later parts, and then they also try to tutorialize that section to make you survive without guns.
Right.
And it sort of feels weird. or
I
bad.
actually have in my notes, I made it a point to write this down, that the game does a very good job making situations seem impossible. I use the word impossible
Mhm.
because I've never played a game that's so effective at making you feel so helpless and weak and hopeless.
right.
Like the
Totally.
one big key to this game that I found was you just have to go. Like it might seem bad. You just have to
Yeah,
use your
totally.
best
I had that
judgment
thought
and
too.
just go. Like a big part of this game for me was you have to really try and allow yourself to suspend your disbelief and become like fully immersed in the world. Because in a situation like this in real life, yeah, it's like there's going to be a lot of shit that's not exactly what you'd call fair, right? And I think what Holden was saying, like you got to respect the game. Like, yeah, the alien is really powerful and really fast and really smart, and it's an apex predator, and that's how the game is going to treat it. And it's a very huge discrepancy in power between you and the alien. Very unfair. And I think that's the way it's supposed to be. I think that's the way it should be.
Yeah. But this specific situation at the start, it was just one of those things that kind of, from the start, it was kind of rubbing me the wrong way. So
Like a bad first
Yeah.
impression.
yeah, and
Yeah.
then so I restarted the mission. Then I got in from I started essentially on a different part because I knew exactly where I had to go, and well, magic objective markers on a map is one of my issues with the game. So I knew I had to go up to the specific spot. And yeah, that was just a very bad first impression.
Yeah.
And then my other issue is like finding a save point. It's like, okay, I just I feel the relief because I don't have to do that section again. And that, like if you get caught by the alien, then it's like, okay, now I know exactly what I need to do, and it just becomes a matter of like going through the motions again to do exactly the same thing. There's no tension. It's just fucking annoying, I think.
Well, I don't want to cut off Danny. I was just gonna say that the AI is very interesting, and beyond those scripted moments that frustrated you, it gets really dynamic, just like a little bit beyond where you got to, which is unfortunate.
Well, yeah. So I got to the point where I was getting to the hide and seek with the xenomorph sections, and I'm like, okay, I get it. I think I get it. I don't know. Maybe I didn't play enough yet, but like I understand how the AI works and stuff, and kind of reacting to how much noise you're making and stuff. Like I get it, but the actual loop of like having to redo sections and stuff if you get caught and then getting caught, and I don't know, it's just very slow and tedious. I just didn't like it. And like I said, I was kind of wondering, like, do I even like what did I like about Thief? I should have revisited it honestly because like I love Thief and it's like a slow-paced stealth game and I don't know what it is.
Mm.
Yeah,
Dan?
I think a lot of the. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead, Danny.
No, I actually like your. It's I was wondering if we were gonna have like a dissenting opinion. I was like, this game's pretty good. Like I don't know, like because it's always usually at our best when we have somebody who doesn't like it because it kind of opens up the avenue of discussion. But like Darth, like all you guys, I saw Alien when I was very young. Scared the shit out of me. Chestburster scene. Like I should have looked into this when I was watching the movie earlier today, but like in the movie, like it's funny. I think the acting isn't that great. Like there are definitely parts where I'm like, oof. But one of the
Yeah.
scenes that's like the best and that traumatized the bejesus out of me is the chestburster scene.
But yeah.
And watching that again, and I think like I'd have to confirm this, but I think I remember hearing like Ridley Scott did not tell them what was going to happen in that scene.
Oh
Which
yeah, I
is-
remember
that
that.
is true.
Yeah.
Which is why they look horrified when the blood splatters and the thing pops out. Like, so it is just like, holy shit. Like, yeah, that movie is amazing. Terrified me as a kid, and it was super good to watch again. And like Super was saying, the small details in this game are crazy. Like, it's so wild. Like, down to the lighting, the sounds, the little like compartments on the walls. Like, I feel like the entire dev team, like they had to watch Alien 10 times before they started on it, 10 times in the middle of it, and then 10 times after they finished to recheck everything.
Oh, that's underselling it. They probably just had that up on another monitor.
Yeah,
while they're making
exactly.
it
They
the
were
whole
just
time.
looking at it. Because yeah, it's like it feels like not only does it encapsulate like the look and the feel, but just like Super was saying, like the helplessness. Like the whole time they're freaking out in the movie, like their odds are that they're definitely gonna die, but they're just trying to survive. And this game feels like that the whole time. Like, cause you get to the next section, you're like, oh fuck, like I don't know if I can. And it's just like that helplessness and like stress just really sells the game to me. And it's just I have like the opposite. Like I enjoy that struggle, like, and how dynamic it is, like Holden was saying. Like it does take a little bit to really open up, but like when you're getting to stuff like you have to avoid the synths but not make noise because of the
man.
xenomorph, but then
So
the xenomorph will fuck around with the synths nearby, but because they have no body temperature, it doesn't even look at them. And it's just like managing like these small little things and like using everything at your disposal. It just like it really feels like it could have been called Alien Survivor or Alien.
I was gonna say, Jamie, I was thinking the same goddamn thing.
yeah, but
And I yeah.
isolation also fits because it feels like you're just by yourself and everybody
I
you meet
love
is
the
gonna
title.
fuck you over.
The very last scene of the game, I was like, dude, that's such a good name for the game.
You mean like the literal very last scene?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that is pretty isolated.
yeah, exactly.
I don't think you could be more isolated. than
yeah,
that.
that's pretty peak isolation. But yeah,
Some space, no one can hear you scream.
I love Alien. I love this game, and
This game is
I'm-
canon, by the way.
Yes, it is canon, and it actually it has DLC with Sigourney Weaver, and she's
Yes, it
in the
does.
main game too.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna take this chance to say, okay. So, it kind of going into what you're saying about it, like capturing Alien perfectly. I think it kind of missed the mark for me in terms of like the tone and writing from the very start. I'm like it's I don't know. You can see the alien in the set design and stuff, but it's like tonally the writing. It's very not Alien. It feels more like it feels like a video game from 2014. It doesn't feel like Alien to me.
I agree with the premise going in. It definitely has the like more Hollywood explosion. Oh my god! But
Right.
I would disagree beyond that. Other than the like scripted, okay, we need you to turn on the generator. It's like, okay.
Yeah, and I think having humans as enemies is also kind of maybe that's part of the disconnect for me. It's like it just I don't know. Again, I didn't play the whole thing. I can't really say too much on that.
That's
But to
fair.
me, the tone didn't quite feel like Alien. It felt more cartoonish. video game-ish, but it is a video game, believe it or not. What was the other thing we were just talking about? It being canon. So I didn't. I'm familiar with the theatrical version of Alien, so I didn't even know that Ripley having a daughter was a canonical thing, because that's in a deleted, sort of like the extended
Yeah.
cut of Aliens. So I
Yeah.
was like, is that? I was like, I don't know how I feel about this. But then I guess it's like actually a thing. So I'm like, okay.
I think
accept it.
The director's cut of the first 3 movies are all considered the canonical versions.
I still need to watch the director's cut of 3.
Yeah, same.
I've heard it's like a different movie basically. But,
I like 3. I think 3 is all right. It's no Aliens, but it's better than Resurrection and
So
Covenant.
the thing with this game, and like you're mentioning the humans and stuff not feeling like alien, like having human enemies, but I think that's part of just like trying to make it like not just like a total complete copy of like Alien. Like you're not trying to every like plot point step by step. Like they tried to shift
There's
away
like
from that a
3
little.
movies worth of ramp ups in the game. I want to say.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, but like where the game takes place on Sevastopol Station, like it's basically a city.
Yeah,
floating
like
in
it's
space.
a station. Like
Yeah.
it's a like Bioshocky kind of feel in a weird way.
Also,
Yeah.
how many years is this after the first one?
I think 15.
Yeah, 15.
Yeah, so like I guess it's, in my opinion, it's fair to be like, at this point, humans are more like, what's the word? Because this doesn't happen. How long has the alien been on here? That was something I missed.
What do you mean on the station?
Yeah,
For like maybe a month, I think. Or like
yeah.
2
So
It's not
that's
long.
what I'm a little okay with humans being more aggressive compared to.
Well, yeah,
the
yeah, it's
movies.
it's like a survival situation, like people are gonna do whatever it takes to survive, and I
Also,
think a lot
pacing-wise,
of
yeah.
horror games don't incorporate that aspect. Like a lot of Resident Evil games, like Resident Evil 3, for example. I'm going on a tangent here. Like the city literally just got like taken over by zombies, and there's no like human survivors, which is a thing like to consider. And this game really did consider it, and yeah, it is a main element in this game, dealing with the other humans. One thing I found funny was that for me sometimes it was difficult to distinguish hostile humans from friendly
Oh yeah,
humans.
that's definitely a
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, so
It is
I
an
was
interesting part of their AI, though.
yeah,
It's
it
kinda
is.
what makes
It
them
adds to
Different than synthetics and aliens.
it adds to the immersion of like like if you're in this situation and you saw a group of people, how are you going to tell if they're hostile or not? You really can't. So I threw a flashbang at these people, and then I ran up and clubbed one of them with my wrench, and the game was like, "Don't kill civilians."
Yeah,
Like,
okay. That's a huge blemish on this game, though.
What do you
I
mean
think-
that you can't kill innocent people?
Yes, but there was like that one specific part where, the alien doesn't become a problem for a little bit, but like the robots ramp up, and it's just like this. It's chaos. There's people running all over the place. There's fucking robots, and So
the
this-
synthetics are running around killing
Yeah.
everyone though.
there's a human just running straight at me, so I blow him away, and the game's like, no, you're supposed to do that. It's like, but the humans kill me in like 0.25 seconds. So
Yeah.
I
Yep.
I don't know. That was like one problem I had with the game. I think that you should be allowed to fucking kill innocent
Kill or be
civilians.
killed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with that. I can agree with
Literally,
that.
like I don't really think it goes in, like it doesn't really fit tonally in the game to be like, no, you have to be a spotless hero to survive Sevastopol Station. Like,
Sure. Yeah, I totally agree with that.
Or even just, I feel like there were a couple times where you'd seen an innocent person like get killed from the alien. You're like, ooh, this
Oh,
is my
I
chance
felt
to run out
so
of here.
bad. There was that one time, it's late in the game. It's like mission 13, 14, where you go back to the SciTech lab and there's just this
Yeah.
lady sitting by the window and she's
Oh,
like, oh, another
yeah.
survivor? And I was like, oh, she's fine. And I come back through the area at the end and I'm fucking hauling ass, like trying to not die. And I make some noise and the alien drops behind me and sees her. And I'm like,
Oh.
I'm sorry, I'm living. Sorry about your life or lack thereof. And I'm still hustling towards the elevator.
To be
No.
fair, that lady had the survival instinct of a head of lettuce. Dude. She was
True.
literally
Well,
just
she's
sitting
cool 'cause
down on
she's
the
like
couch.
just completely in shock and like, I don't care about anything anymore. We're all dead.
Oh, yeah, and then she
That's
died.
great.
But it's funny, like I never ran into. I didn't actually even process. Like I know it's something you can do in the game, but in my head canon, Amanda is a pacifist. Like the first playthrough, I got the achievement for not killing humans, because this is like
That's fun.
I would think that she wouldn't be like a killer.
Yeah, I agree with it.
However, that didn't stop me from throwing a noisemaker into a group of hostile people and having
Well,
the alien
what's the
go
difference? What's the
banana
difference between
sandwich.
Those two things, honestly. What's the difference?
Nothing, but the blood is on the alien, not me. I just created the situation.
It was directly creating the situation.
I think it's interesting you guys drawing like distinctions like the movie and the game. I think really, you know, they're totally different mediums, so it kind of like it kind of makes it, I imagine, difficult to compare them, really.
Yeah, well, that's what I think. I'm glad you brought that up, because I do kind of separate it, because obviously this is an alien video game. Like it can't be one-to-one the alien movie, so that's why I like that I see so much of the movie within the video game. So it's like I have the best of both worlds. Like,
Well, when I was talking about there being like 3 movies worth of rising and falling actions, I was actually, and then on top of that, me being like, dude, the ending, Alien Isolation, that's so smart. I really love that it was like, for me, having all these extravagant key moments were just to facilitate big Omega, oh my god moments, or like
Yeah.
to keep the action or spookiness going. Like the whole time where you're like, oh, there aren't any aliens anymore, and then they do the big reveal, and then you got to go even further. That was so well done, just in the fact that there was like a resolution, there were still plot points building. The game, and then the gameplay on top was really well paced because of all these that they wrote all together. And that's kind of what impressed me the most. So they really wrote it well to facilitate like really good stuff, minus kind of the beginning that Chris is talking about. That's kind of the biggest weak.
yeah, the
Weak
beginning
point
is
for
a
me.
little bit. It can be
When I
sluggy.
quit this game the first time, I quit for the exact reason that Chris said, because like that situation with the humans in the lobby, I was like, really? Like, what the fuck do you want me to do? Like, there's nowhere to hide. Like, what? So I was like, fuck this, because I kept dying, and I was like, well, maybe I'll play it later, and I never did until now. And once
And
you
it turns
push
out
past
there's
certain
that one
parts,
spot, there's just a single box you can hide behind, they all walk past, and
Yeah,
then you go forward.
That's what I did.
Well-
I was like, oh great, after like an hour and a half.
You
Yeah.
could but you could also throw flares and hit walls with a wrench and
Yeah.
Or
like,
turn
move
the
around like
gat or
that.
the air purifier off or whatever.
Yeah.
There are a lot of options,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
not as apparent when you're getting angry.
like I know one thing in this game that, for me anyways, and I'm sure some of you experience this too, like when you first start playing this game and there's sections where you have to hide, like you're just hiding for like so long, and you're like, when do I go?
But
That's
the-
like-
well,
that's
the-
something
the
that's-
best part about that is there's literally a tooltip of the loading screen that said hiding is only a temporary solution.
Yep.
And you're like,
Yep.
well,
Sure
There's
do
also
that.
there's also a tooltip that says other people are just trying to survive. They're not hostile or whatever. And, I was getting that during the encounter with the humans.
I
That's
have to be too,
hilarious.
Chris. I was pissed. Something I wanted to talk about was the paralyzing, like aura created by the alien. When I was playing this game, guys, like I was making such slow progress because anytime I didn't know exactly where the alien was, so that I could walk around it, I would just be hiding for like, it felt like 10 minutes I would hide for. And that was something that was really frustrating me with the game. It took me so long to beat this game for that reason. And I think probably what made the game finally click with me was when I stopped doing that. Not because of like any reason other than I just like steeled myself to do so. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Yeah. You summon willpower.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was like I honestly have never experienced something like that while playing a video game before.
I wish I could still feel that nauseating dread, but unfortunately I don't really feel that. But you know what's great that reminded me of Darth is, to this game's credit, I never found one moment where they cheated the alien dot. Like, that thing's always moving
Oh,
and accurate,
Yeah,
and
it
it
is.
never cheats, and it that blows my mind.
Well, so do you want to know a thing? I actually did look this up because I was curious about it. The alien AI, and I'm sure you'd be interested to hear this. Hold in.
I watched those videos. Yeah.
Yeah, so the way it works is depending on the difficulty you pick, the alien has a leash. It's tied to you. And
Yep.
depending on the difficulty, the leash gets shorter. So there's actually a mod called like Random Alien that will just make it fuck off. Like, it will be anywhere
truly be
it can
random.
be.
Yeah, because
Um,
there is actually one moment where I noticed where I went the wrong way, and then the alien just completely beelined to be in the general area I was in.
Mhm.
I was like, a video game, I know what's going on right now. But other than that, they really do not make it apparent.
Yeah, they do a really good job of making it feel like that thing is just looking for you. Like, it is on your
Also,
it
it's
knows you
adaptive,
exist and it wants
yeah.
to kill you.
And it knows that you have been avoiding it and outsmarting it, unlike all the other humans. So it's pissed and it wants to fucking kill you.
Yeah.
I was just gonna ask if there's any specific reason why it would be hunting you versus everyone else on the ship.
So
Yeah, xenomorphs are very intelligent, like canonically. They're
Yeah.
extremely intelligent. And
and Chris, you get a flamethrower later in the game, and it's like a double-edged sword because you're like, finally I can get this thing to fuck off, and you can
I
use
have a lot to
Molotovs
say
too.
about the
But
flamethrower.
the more you hit it, the more you piss it off, it comes back meaner. Like, you
Dude,
piss
it
it
kites
off.
your flamethrower, makes you waste
Yeah.
ammo.
it has diminishing returns, the flamethrower.
Yeah.
So if you abuse it by like the end of the game, the alien's like, I don't give a fuck about your
Yeah,
stupid
like,
ass
yeah,
flamethrower.
you have no fuel and it's pissed, and you're like, whoa.
That's kind of interesting. Is
And
there only
it-
one alien?
No.
At first.
Yeah.
It,
you find you find the nest at a certain point.
What's really fascinating too is I found out the AI has that reaction, like it. So if you interact with like the flamethrower, it will. First off, okay. First thing about the flamethrower that's really cool is I'm not familiar with a game where you can't kill the spooky alien horror enemy that kills you, but can like do this weird reverse cat and mouse thing. That I thought was
Yeah.
really well done and smart.
I think it was very ahead of its time because, like, you see when this game came out, and that didn't really start to be a thing in games until, well, not that I'm aware of, anyways, until like Resident Evil 2 remake.
Right? Yeah.
Because
That's
Mr.
a
X,
good
the way he
example.
followed you was like Mr. X in the original Resident Evil 2. He shows up in certain areas,
Mhm.
and then you leave, and that's that.
Yeah, Mr. X, you shoot him in the head with a magnum and his hat pops off, and you're like, ooh, I can run around him. In this game, you shoot the alien in the head
And it
with
just
a...
runs a beeline at you and kills
Yeah.
you immediately. Yeah. That was one thing that I was like kind of confused me. It didn't really confuse me, but it like bothered me a little. Was like you watch the movie Aliens, right? And they shoot the aliens, and the aliens die.
Yeah.
In this game,
The
you shoot
shotgun
the
will
alien,
actually stun it.
and nothing happens.
Mhm.
Nothing. It doesn't even make it nothing. Not a mark, not a scratch.
Also, I played Alien Trilogy on Sega Saturn.
Okay, well, that's fair. Okay, pardon. The other thing I wanted to say about the flamethrower was the AI adapts to that, but it also adapts to the sound maker, the flares. Like, each one, it'll spend less and less time. Like, the first time it looks at a
Yep.
flare, it'll be like, what's this? And then, if, like, the more and more you do it, it'll just be
And
not
starts to
caring.
realize that it's actually a distraction.
And
I-
same goes for, like, I believe when you're trying, like, hiding in lockers frequently, it knows to sniff them out.
Yeah, it'll start to
It's
sniff you
really
out,
cool.
and you have to do the QuickTime event, which you
Yeah.
die half the
I-
time.
I hid in the lockers for so long that it checked me in the locker every single time I was in one. It never, by the end of the game, it would go into a huge room and immediately go to the locker.
I stopped
used-
using lockers because I feel like lockers are actually more dangerous than just hiding under a desk or behind a box.
Dude, the dynamic of the hiding under something it feels really smooth and natural and cool, which I like. I love the feeling of being like, oh my god, I'm in eyesight. I need to look the other way. If I can't see the alien, it can't see me. And oh my gosh, it takes longer to get out of this desk. I'm just gonna hold my breath. Like, it's such a good feeling compared to like press E to hide under desk and nothing happens.
The amount
Right.
of noise she would make opening and closing the lockers made me.
Yeah, like
That's-
slow
yeah,
down. Goddamn.
Yeah, she slams the door as hard as she can.
Yeah, yeah. Same with opening them. Just
Yeah.
burst out.
Yeah, that I think is a little bit funny. Something I thought was really cool about this game too was how you could peek over things.
Yes.
I never
Mhm.
realized how much I wanted to do that until I played this game, and it adds so much to the feeling like that Super was talking about you being small and weak. Like just like you feel like you're just a little fucking bug, just like peering over a ledge at someone with a big fucking can of Raid, just ready to kill you. And
I was peeking a lot toward the end just so I wouldn't have the motion tracker noise pop off.
I don't think the motion tracker noise registers with any of the AI.
Oh, does it not? Well,
It-
I was
No.
just speaking
The
like
tooltip
a speaking
said it.
Tom.
it
does.
does, but only when
It
they're really,
does?
really
Yeah, I
close.
think they have to be like on
like,
top of you.
Yeah,
Dude,
like
And sometimes you'll be like doing this thing where you're revolving around something with the alien and it'll like 180 or just hold there. Like it
Yeah.
knows to try and get you off guard in those moments. It's crazy.
yeah.
One thing I do appreciate about this game is the motion tracker and the lack of, well, fairly minimal UI, and
Mhm.
that's kind of why the objective markers on the map kind of bothered me, because you just kind of psychic know where to go.
Really?
So I
I
feel
like
like it
that
was
it-
pretty close to being a pretty immersive game, but yeah, I don't know. It could have.
It was
gone
funny you
over.
mentioned that, because this game, like, I feel completely the opposite. Like, this game will only hold your hand on where to go as much as you make it. Like, it gives you the choice. Like,
Mhm.
you can
Yeah,
you can
follow
stare
the
at the what's it called, the motion tracker, and follow the little thing. But the only time I ever used the motion tracker was like when I heard those footsteps, and I was like, "Oh sweet Jesus, I'm about to die." Like I never followed any objective markers. Like I got fucking lost as shit, and I played this game 4 times.
I was quite thankful for them actually. I think, you know me, I love my new fangled video game quality of life features. And
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like you get the option, so that's why I'm confused about you saying you didn't like. Like I forgot there was a map in this
on the
game. I don't
map,
think
so-
I ever hit M.
I don't know.
oh
There's
my God,
there's
I abused the shit out of the map.
there's so the way the game is, there's no in between. Like you can either follow the map, or like you said, get lost as fuck. I think a better designed game would allow you to not use the map, and you would not be lost as fuck.
I mean, that's
my
what you
point.
have the motion tracker for.
I enjoy that it. So I usually don't like the dot on the map, but I do at least appreciate a lot of the objectives. They would have an ambiguous way of actually how you get there. You'd be like, oh, it's this
This is
way,
true.
and
Yeah.
aliens following me. Oh, it's locked. I don't even know where the key card is. I enjoyed that, and it does feel a little unfair of like, oh, I'm gonna die figuring this out. That's not really fun in a horror game. But that was also kind of around the time when I wasn't using items and I was being a big doofus. So
So
It's
I
on me.
think I'm also like Chris. I prefer no objective markers, but I think this game kind of needs them a little more than other games because of the on the imbalance of power between you and the alien. Like, if you had to try to figure out where to go with the alien following you all the time, that would be fucked, dude. Like,
Yeah.
because you have to move so slowly from safe spot to safe spot if the alien's nearby, and having to like navigate simultaneously would be pretty scary, like in a bad way. Like, I think like I don't know, and also didn't Ripley have like a? Weren't there parts in the game where the other characters were like, "Oh, I'm uploading the location to your face" or whatever?
Yeah, like when
yeah,
I
Homeboy
forget
does that a few times.
what is it? Yeah, when the guy who's in
Ricardo.
Ricardo in the Colonial Marshals
yeah,
area.
yeah.
Yes.
I wanted to say, like, I really appreciated that the game did that, because something that's kind of different from Ripley and us is that Ripley has lived on space stations, and, you know, like, to me, there's a lot of things, it talks about going to certain things that I couldn't possibly think of in my head, navigating areas that are completely and utterly alien to me. So I found that getting a bit of an idea of where to go was kind of aided in the fact that the environment was so alien to me, and it kind of Holden said something that I was going to reference, but then I forgot. Fuck. Well, anyways, that's basically what I wanted to say.
Yeah, I do like how this game lets you just wander off and go
Oh.
wherever you want.
It's because a lot of the times I would go in the direction and then I would not actually end up where I wanted to go, because like Holden said, it's very roundabout, lots of circular corridors,
Right.
stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and like
Sure.
things are damaged or blocked off with debris, things like
Mhm.
that.
What?
And
One thing I loved about that is I had pretty much anytime I play a game like a horror game like this in the like 8 to 12 hour range, I will look just like kind of everywhere for items or whatever. I just kind of any game I love exploring all the time, all like everything. But this game, uh, they really nailed being like, hey, it's unless you're in those like weird safe moments, like where you were just running through, no problem in the gameplay. Uh, I did not feel inclined to explore things for items
yeah,
like I
no.
usually do in games,
It
and
was like
that's
like,
a really
yeah.
cool like feeling to inspire in an alien game.
I definitely combed every inch of this game. There's a lot of things you can find if you're very
Mhm.
thorough.
Yeah.
Like there's there's audio logs from the Nostromo.
Mhm.
There's 10 of them that you can find that are not, you won't find them unless you look for them.
I definitely
it's-
did like going for the last plasma secret doors. There were quite a few at
Oh
towards the end of
right,
the game.
yeah. When you get the plasma torch, that's so Metroid, and Metroid is
Yeah.
so alien.
Yeah,
Whoa.
whoa!
Whoa, it's
Ridley
happening.
is Ridley.
Oh shit. Yeah, dude. Sorry, see where you go.
So this game, like the reason I was so inclined to explore is because I fell in love. I love the Alien universe a lot, and like this game, when I started playing it and seeing how it basically puts you in, like a lot of games based on things try to put you in its universe, but I've never seen anything succeed to the degree that this game does in immersing you in the uniqueness of its source material. And that's what
Yeah.
caused me to want to comb every square inch. It might sound weird, but like I was literally point blank against walls, looking at the textures and being like, "Yep, that's from the movie."
I
Checks
was doing a
out.
little of that too. Did you play on hard, by the way?
I put in hard.
Yeah.
It's
The game tells you to. It says this is what you're supposed to play on.
dude, it's hard too. Like
Oh,
I actually found this game difficult.
Yeah, dude. Oh my
That's
God.
one thing that I was going to bring up in a second was this game until the end, until mission 17 specifically, when the stabilizers are destroyed. Like I didn't really find this game very difficult.
Dude, I had the
Uh,
exact inverse.
Same.
But I also that was the final thing I was gonna say about the flamethrower. When they give it to you and they're like, "All right, you're gonna set it on fire once we trap it." I was like, "I'm gonna save all my flamethrower ammo," and I just kept dying over and over and over and over again. But then at the end, I had all this flamethrower ammo. So,
Oh, that's probably why it was easy for you.
yeah,
to find.
I played dumb.
So when I got to mission 17, when it's like right after the dude who was on the crew that went into the derelict blew up the Nisidora, his ship, and destroyed the stabilizers on Sevastopol. The alien starts to jump out of the vent every 2 fucking seconds. And
Yeah.
not only that, but like I'm pretty sure its leash gets shorter too.
Oh yeah.
And like it just seems like all right, like okay, like you have to like come out of hiding and do this generator, which requires 3 handle pulls. And sometimes literally like you just have to get lucky.
Yeah,
to
I'd
be
pop
able
out
to
of the
pull.
locker. Oop, it hopped down immediately.
I mean,
Yeah,
did you
there-
guys never use the Molotov trap? Because that shit saved me at the end.
Oh
of the
yeah,
game
you just
super
place it
hard.
down.
And then
Yeah,
it's like a free object interaction.
but
I don't know
I
why I
don't
didn't
know.
ever do that. I think I threw 3 in a row at something and wasted
You
it.
even beat the game. Oh my
Threw
god.
him up in the air. Happy 4th.
So all the praise I've given this game, like it kind of fell apart at the end for me. Not
Yeah.
totally, but like that part where the alien is just ultra aggressive and like like I don't know, like you'll leave a noisemaker, right? And you'll use the noisemaker to be able to move to the next area. And as soon as you cross an invisible line, it just says "fuck the noisemaker" and leashes to you.
Mm.
And like I kind of felt that was cheap in a way. Like you're using like strategy and thought to distract the alien, so you can move fucking 10 feet down a hallway. And like it's like, nope, sorry, I'm psychic and I know you moved down that hallway, so I'm gonna go and stand in the vent directly above your head and hiss.
Oh.
That's fair criticism.
But
That-
yeah, and then
Games
after
like
that,
Or like,
what's that?
oh, I was just gonna elaborate on that. Just spending like an extra like couple minutes just trying to get back to where you were and having to just wait. It felt like wasting the player's time, but I also don't see like an alternative to that with how the AI works, you know?
Right.
Having to do things over is the reason I did not like this game. Like that entire thing.
Right.
Yeah, I understand. I can see that, and I think these are the reasons that this game is so divisive. Like,
Mhm.
there's a lot of people who think this game sucks
Mhm.
badly. Like,
Yeah, it's
then
not
there's
a,
a lot of
critic
people-
darling.
yeah, no, it is definitely not. And there's people like me and Danny who fucking love it. But I mean, that's good. That's a good thing. I think that's a good thing. But
It really made me want to play Prey again.
Crazy.
The 2006 or
No,
Yeah,
the
the
good
remake.
one.
Yeah, I was about to say nobody wants to play that other one again.
I do. Guess what's getting on next book
Oh
club?
god.
do it.
I'd play it again.
I play it.
So, but and then after that part, there's this like a chain of events that are basically scripted real time things, like where you're avoiding the trains
Mhm.
and crawling like
The
through
only jump scare in the game.
wreckage.
Oh no,
Like,
this
are you
game's got
kidding me?
its-
The explosion, dude.
Yeah, this
The
game's got its fair
explosion.
share of jump scares.
The only
Which
thing
is-
in this game that startled me was when you run into the trap set by the marshal and it explodes. God, that fucking scared me.
Oh yeah, I guess there are a couple like that, huh?
yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a handful, which I think
But I
is.
think-
I didn't find
respectable.
them cheap scares though.
Like, the only flaw I found with this game for me personally was that it kind of went on a little too long. And the parts near the end were kind of pointless a little bit. Like, they could have been shortened significantly. Like, when you're walking on the surface of the Sevastopol to
Oh,
go
yeah.
and...
I
That
love this
reminded
game
me
to
of,
pieces, but I hate the spacewalking section.
Dude.
Yeah.
They're
That
just too
reminded me of
slow.
Star Wars. Because we had that outdoor or the outer space section where you got to walk around outside, and where
Yes,
I made
yeah.
the point. I was like, oh well, you know, maybe those were good graphics when it came out. And then going through this in Alien Isolation, I was like, wow, these graphics are really good, but this is taking a really long time still.
I mean, it looks cool and it sounds really cool.
Yeah,
like,
like,
the
they're very
debris
well
hitting your
designed.
helmet. It's just like the walkway is so long.
Why was it so long though?
I
They
thought it
could've
was
cut it in
pretty
half.
ridiculous. You get put in a nest right before the end of the game.
Yeah, that too.
It's like
Yeah.
I wanted something like that, but it was a little goofy.
Yeah, it was.
And you have all
They
your
held
weapons
they
and
held
items
that too long.
afterwards. Like,
Yeah, you just randomly find your weapons on the floor after they get taken. But yeah, they should have introduced the nest sooner, I think. But I did kind of pop off when I woke up in the nest. I'm not
Like,
gonna
oh.
lie. I was actually a little disappointed that you never see a queen.
Hey,
Apparently,
good.
it was planned for the game.
As soon as I ended up in the nest, I was like, I can't fucking wait to see the queen.
I loved
Nope.
crawling through that one slimy tube.
Oh.
dude, the alien nest section was the like
You get all the
moment-
dots on the
Yeah.
scanner everywhere. It's so
that
good.
was the moment, like the triumphant moment for me, where I finally felt like I was able to actually play the game, because like I spent the whole time like paralyzed, taking like hours to get through sessions, because even when the fucking alien would go up in the vents, I would be like crawling on the ground, terrified because it could be anywhere. And then I finally got to that part, and I was like, I'm just gonna fucking go. I am just not gonna be scared, and I am just gonna go. And that part was probably the scariest thing I've played in like any video game, honestly. Like, you constantly hear it screaming all around you. You have no idea if it's like right behind you, running at you. There's the fucking egg lords.
Yeah,
swimming
you're trying to
around.
tell which eggs are still active, if there's a
Yeah.
face
The
hugger
egg
crawling
lords.
on the ground, and then you hear the squeal and
Egg
start panicking with the
I
weapon
know, they're
wheel.
face
Either
hugger.
one of those felt so cheap every time, but that's also how it works, so it was fun.
So I can't. I just like, you guys, like, I don't know if you guys are aware of this, maybe from watching me play Phasmophobia, but I really fucking hate and suck at horror games.
Oh no,
I
we're
like-
aware.
I have a very low tolerance for them. And
I
it's like,
actually,
yeah.
while I was playing this game, I would often think, man, I wonder how Darth's doing.
That's what I was thinking the whole playthrough too.
Badly. The answer is badly. But
Yeah.
that's what made the game fun for me in the end, was when I was able to overcome that. And I feel like the whole game was about surviving. Like, I always thought back to what that guy said right before he died, where he's like, this is about survival, you know? And I felt like a strange empowerment by kind of like overcoming the fear that had paralyzed me for the first 50-60% of the game. And that was just a really unique experience.
They say that courage it's not being scared, it's being scared and doing it anyways.
How do you think Youngling felt going into the Great Deku Tree?
That's right.
I mean, he only had like 7 polygons, so he probably didn't think much.
Yeah, he didn't have a polygon dedicated to thinking.
Donnie, you mentioned the game's lighting. This game came out 10 years ago. And
This
it
game
runs
looks
really
like it came
well,
out yesterday.
and
Yeah,
the
I know,
lighting
right?
is so good.
Yes, it is.
Like the volumetric fog and smoke and the lighting is just like, you can see it in literally every single frame of the gameplay footage right now. Like, I can just look over and be like, damn, looks nice.
It's also really well optimized.
Yes.
Like, it runs super well.
It
Like,
also respects darkness, which a lot of horror games really mess up.
Yeah. And it's cool because I had this thought often while playing this game. Like, you have a flashlight, right? And the batteries don't last very long. You do find a lot of batteries, but there were times where I was turning my flashlight on when I probably shouldn't have, because I just wanted to see how cool the game looked. Like, I was
Mhm.
walking through a hallway and thinking, like, yeah, conserve your battery. You don't need to use it. But then I also thought, you're missing out, man.
Yeah, let me
You're
check out
missing
this hallway.
Yeah, dude. Damn, look at this hallway. It's sick. But
That kind of leads me to like we were talking about like the small details, but it's even like the small details in the gameplay, because I just wanted to bring this up because we were talking about the guns. Like, the guns have their use against the alien. Like, Holden was saying the shotgun stuns it, but like even the Magnum, like if you're in a fucking pinch, like you can knock over the red barrels, like the oxygen barrels, and use them as like a trap. You can shoot them and they blow up, and it scares the
Know that.
alien away. So it's
That's
like,
cool.
you have options, and you can like
Right.
shoot vents. Like, even though you don't have the thing that's good at dealing with the alien, you have something that you can
Yes.
use to still deal with the alien.
absolutely, that's a big plus for this game for me, is the many options you have, and like utilizing the environment, and like you kind of have to be creative because the game doesn't tell you that you can do
Yeah,
that.
on that note, well, the first time I saw the crafting system, I kind of rolled my eyes. I was like, what is this doing in Alien? But the way it actually works fits super well.
Also, Amanda Ripley is very mechanically inclined.
Yeah, she's an engineer.
Right.
Yeah. So it kind of makes sense that she can MacGyver shit. One thing that I thought was fucking hilarious was how she has to tape the little sensor and like the whatever to the Molotov cocktail. Like, it's
Yeah.
a fucking bottle with a rag in it.
That's how it triggers on the ground.
Yeah, it's not the glass breaking. Oh, you mean the motion? Okay.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, like the
alright,
trap
alright.
version.
All right, I just
I
still
had
thought
that
it was
thought
a
too.
funny like picture.
Holden, I'll also say that I also rolled my eyes at the crafting system, but then I never fully made use of it, and it's probably one of the reasons I didn't get much enjoyment out of the game.
Right.
Yeah, you kind of. It's very crucial.
I
to
use the
use items.
noisemaker, but that's about it.
Yeah,
and then
pretty much every item has a lot of very important uses.
I definitely wish I enjoyed this game more.
You can miss pretty good recipes too.
Yeah, you can miss
Yeah.
optional like upgrades.
Yeah, you sure can.
I'll never forget the first time I threw a flare. Like I'm shitting in fire. That's what I'll say about this game is I've said I played it 4 times. Every time I'm shitting farting when the alien is near. When I hear those thumping footsteps and I don't
Oh,
really
God.
have like the
These
best
metallic
thing to
sounding feet.
do, and I had like just a flare. Like it was early on, and I was hiding in a corner. I was like, I'm gonna throw this flare in the opposite side, and then I'm gonna run the other way as soon as I hear it running. So I went to throw the flare, and it clipped the edge of like the
Yeah.
like thing I was hiding behind, and the flare went behind me, and I heard the alien hiss, and I was like, well, there goes that.
That
I
happened
like
to me
when,
a bit too many times. I think it was like might be.
Yeah, I threw a
flaw
noisemaker
beyond
one
what's-
time, and it bounced off of some thing protruding out of the ceiling that I couldn't see because it was dark, and it just landed directly in front of me.
We're gonna say it's a
But-
first story.
I don't remember, but I will say that I enjoy the fact that bringing up the item wheel doesn't pause the game. Because like the alien's getting close to you, and you open, and you're like, up the,
Yeah,
where is it?
I'm fucking equipping the shotgun. I'm like, no, this has to be the flamethrower. Grab a flare, and I'm like, well, and then the face is in my face, and I'm like, well,
Yeah, yeah.
Dude, like nothing pauses the game, which is kind of sick.
The
it
map.
was-
Actually,
that-
I
that-
dislike the way the map functions because of that, with how
that's-
cool the motion scanner is. But yeah,
That's pretty fair. I think though, like something that I was gonna say that is no longer in my brain, and it's gone. Fuck.
It happens.
It'll come
It
back.
happens. We were talking about item usage, creative solutions.
Oh,
to
okay.
avoiding
I
the
remember
alien.
now. I remember now. This game has really fucking phenomenal world building for Sevastopol. That
Oh,
is,
yeah.
from what I learned about the Alien movie through like, because something I did. Okay, I would get to a part and then I would get too scared. Like the medical wing when he drops down. I literally paused the game and watched YouTube videos about Alien for 2 hours because I was procrastinating playing the game. But you know, like capitalism and greed is kind of like seems to me to be kind of like the big motivating factor for what kind of
Yep.
happens in the first Alien,
mhm.
and that's a huge part of this game. But it gets super deeply explored to show how lots of different people with different jobs and backgrounds on the station were affected and then ultimately killed by this sort of system.
Mhm.
And I just, unfortunately, I was not able to check all the computers that I wanted to because I adopted the mantra of just fucking moving really fast through every single section.
yeah, that's
So
what I
missed
was
things.
doing.
But I was kind of blown away by it actually. It was kind of what kept me engaged through the first 50% of the game was unraveling how this all fucking happened.
Mhm.
Yeah. It is very
Oh, and
interesting.
then the Apollo computer moment is so cool. On top of that,
Yeah.
When you go into the room that looks like the mother room from Alien, oh, dude, I popped off. I was like, oh shit, it's mother.
the Hemisphere Omega computer rooms to hold. Can we talk about real quick the Alien has the awesome sci-fi technology we're talking about, but starting in the 70s, so everything's
Yeah,
CRT.
like
Yeah,
the
it's antiquated
70s sci-fi
almost.
It's
future.
antiquated
it's
technology
retro
that
future.
advanced from that point. Like it's a very
It reminds
Sorry,
me of the
car went
Fallout
by.
almost.
it's a
Well-
very specific sci-fi
Yes.
technology to make, and I just like a Super was saying he'd stare at like walls and textures and stuff. I could not believe I would stare at like a fake little HVAC unit for heating and ventilation, AC and all that, and I'd like look at its evaporator lines and be hooked up like thoughtfully, like an actual AC tech from the 70s came up with this thing, and it's like in a ceiling corner that no one would notice, and it's those details that blew me away because they weren't ever just random hoses going
Nope.
from a point A to point B. Like they had intention behind this fake technology that's never been made in real life.
Yeah,
It's really cool.
I'll
So
go off
that's
on
the world building I love the most.
agreed.
a slight tangent, but the whole retro future thing is one of the main reasons. One of the issues I had with Prometheus is because they dropped that entirely.
Yeah,
Right,
they went
yeah.
full like fucking smooth silver blob looking thing
Yeah.
technology.
Space future.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
fucking
pretty dumb.
Eiffel 69. I'm blue shit. Like,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, yeah, it's so unique to Aliens. The retro future tech that they have in the
Yeah,
movie
it's so good.
and in this game. It's great. I love it.
And
Like
what-
the
gotta-
save points are like old-fashioned telephones.
So do you
Yeah.
know what's actually funny about the save points is they in Alien Rhombus, the new one, those save points are in Alien Romulus.
Oh,
that's
that's so
There's
cool.
an Easter
actually.
egg, yeah. So they were big fans of this game, which you can see in that movie, which is weird. Like,
What do you mean?
It
What do you mean you can see? Oh,
Like-
you're talking about the phone?
well, no, I just mean like there's so many parts. Well, not so many, but there's a lot of parts of Alien Romulus that feel like they could have fit into this game.
Oh, okay. I see what
Mhm.
you're saying.
I like
That's cool.
some of the computers and stuff in this game look like straight up Atari designed.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
I
Like the
love
monitors are all like
computer
phosphorus
interfaces.
monitors. It's great.
Super cool.
But what Darth was talking about, like the lore of like Siegson and Sevastopol, like it's really interesting that they introduced like obviously Wayland Yutani as like the dirty, grimy, like megacorp that everybody knows.
Yeah.
But then you have Siegson that's this like dirty, grimy mini corp that wants to be Wayland Yutani, and like just reading about the stuff and like it's the world building in this that's like beyond just the regular Alien, but how they're synthetics. They're called the Working Joes, and they sell it as a point. Like one of their posters is like, you know, it's a synth. Like they're selling that as like a good point. Like this is why we did this, so you're not surprised. But then you read the emails and they're like, I don't care if the tech doesn't work and if they're shitty compared to Wayland Yutani synths. Just sell it. Like just give them whatever they want, and if we can't do it, just promise it, and we'll deal with it later. Like
Dude, that's literally AI right now.
yeah, pretty much.
I think another big thing was like corruption too. Like I swear there was at least like 15 different logs of one person exerting their kind of like hierarchical power over like another employee or someone from another like sector, which I think just made it feel even more cohesive as a setting. you
The
know?
background political drama that
Yeah.
played to these plot points that came together.
Absolutely. I
And then
was
there's that like
so into that.
that twist that's outside of like outside of just surviving the alien, that's in I guess what 70% the way through the game, where you try to override something and you find out that that shitty guy that Darth is talking about sold out to Wayland Yutani, and that fucks you over because now this ship is in control of Wayland Yutani and there's nothing you can do about it. And it's like, what? So it's cool that the
that's why
plot
AIs
develops.
kill everyone.
It like develops within the game. It's not like Space Station is already trashed, we're just surviving on it. It's like, no, shit's still kind of going down.
Yeah.
The I'm sorry, Ripley moment actually happening during gameplay, and like 5 seconds later you hear the explosion go off was a really cool moment, even if I saw it coming.
One thing that we haven't brought up yet that I think is appropriate, it's the appropriate time now, is the end of the game. The ending is weird.
I hated it.
I'm the only one who liked it.
No,
Apparently.
I
like
like
the
it,
ending.
but it's got its problems. Wait, are we
But
talking
here's
about the
the
final
thing.
scene, or are we talking about like the
I'm
actual?
talking about after you get back on the torrents. So, hear me out.
Mhm.
when you wake up on the Torrens, you're not in the airlock, right?
Mm-hmm.
You jettison yourself off of the Sevastopol because there's 3 drones about to kill you, right? And you slam into the side of the Torrens and get knocked unconscious, and then you wake up in the Torrens,
Not in your
and
suit.
you're in your suit. You're just not in the airlock.
Oh yeah.
And then you walk past the airlock, and all the spacesuits are still there. How could that be? If you and Taylor
Oh, what?
And-
Yeah, well, I never thought
and
about that.
the android guy, I forgot his name. If you took the suits, and then like you get how did the xenomorph get on the Torrens? How?
So-
Well, that I was okay with because you see like 3 of them before you go down the ladder.
right.
Like
right.
it's reasonable to be like, oh, there's a couple.
But could it have killed everyone that quickly? Like, how long were you unconscious?
So it's funny. I looked into that because I thought the same thing as you. I was like, wait, this is weird. Why is the alien hit? Like, people, like, the theory is that didn't happen. Like, that she got
a
knocked
dream.
out and it was
Yeah.
a dream. And then
It's a
what
dream.
actually happened is her just waking up into that light.
Yeah, the light at the very end is the Torrens about to pluck her out of space.
Yeah.
That's
So,
what I think happened.
Yeah.
I
That's a wild
prefer
thought.
I prefer that idea of the ending, but like, dude, after what felt to me like a brutal like white knuckle fight for survival, I wanted to have 5 minutes of being safe. I think that would have made the game like fully like it would have made it really feel like it ended perfectly for me. That ending really feel like it almost like kind of, I don't know, like sucked away a lot of the triumph that I had been feeling in conquering my fear playing the game. You know what I mean?
No, I,
So
I
no-
definitely get that, but I also don't want to be that guy. But that is Alien. Like them's the
Yeah.
breaks.
That's where
Yep.
It
my
sucks.
Yeah,
stupid
well, I think
stoner
that's-
statement of being like, "Oh, it's alien isolation," but I actually genuinely love that at the end.
Yeah, it's cool. It's a very Breaking Bad-esque detail. It's like, did you know that Walter always wears red when he's about to shoot a
Yeah.
baby? But I thought the ending was interesting, and from what I read, I don't know how true it is, that they were planning on making a sequel right away. So it would kind of make sense to leave the ending the way they left it.
Yeah,
Also, in canon, Ripley's daughter lived to like into her 70s.
Yeah, in some like weird game that turned into like a cell phone game. She led like a strike team or something.
There's comics too.
Yeah.
There's multiple comic arcs that feature Amanda Ripley.
Yeah. She seems like the kind of person who doesn't want to be anywhere near this type of situation ever again. Like the entire game, she's fucking tired and sick of all this shit, and is just like almost sounds like she's on the edge of like tears and just passing out the whole time.
yeah. Her voice acting is so good at times. Her
Yeah,
agreed.
exhaustion and like I'm over this
It
sound.
perfectly mirrored how I felt playing the game.
Yeah, I think that was intentional. I think they wanted you to feel that way.
I just feel like it built up to nothing with the ending for me.
I
Like,
can see that,
Yeah.
I
and
felt like I was
wouldn't
like-
fault anyone for thinking that.
Yeah, the
I don't
ending
know.
is definitely a touchy point.
I think it's controversial. I think it's interesting and thought provoking, but I fucking hated it.
I'm just kind of glad that they didn't give you a moment where, like, it's like, oh, you found an ultra gun, and the alien's like hiss, and you're like, fuck you, and you just blow
kill, like,
it
12
away.
of them.
Yeah, I'm glad
Yeah.
that didn't happen.
God, yeah.
Ooh.
See, that is
Super,
that
have you
to
seen
me is
Alien
classic
Romulus
movie.
yet?
No,
Okay.
I have not.
I-
But the
I
thing
was-
is, there
yeah.
are appropriate moments for moments like that, like at the end, like in Aliens, the end of Aliens, where Ripley comes out of the power loader,
Power
and says
loader,
her
yeah.
famous line. Like there are
Love
times
that
where
part.
it is appropriate to have that kind of
That's
okay,
so true.
now we can fight on equal ground. You know, like I think that is the thing that is appropriate. It's just you have to do it correctly.
Dude, Alien Isolation 2, you get a queen and that thing.
Yes, power loader. Yeah,
Oh,
no,
that-
there 100% is
yeah.
going to be a power loader fight
And
in
an
Alien
alien
Isolation
queen.
too.
Yeah.
They should just
Yeah.
call it Aliens Isolation.
That would, I'd buy it. No, be careful,
Yeah.
Chris. We've already talked about the power we have.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to jinx that.
Where Danny is right now, as a random tangent, did you guys see the lead up of the alien coming through the door when this dude's about to die?
Yeah, because I watched it happen on Danny's stream.
I love that so much.
Yeah. I thought he was gonna come from the vent above you, but he comes from the door. You're like, oh,
Well, it's just
fuck.
so funny because like I'm holding out the whole time and he's walking towards the door so slowly, and I just see the other dot, and Ripley's not saying anything for like 5 seconds.
Yeah, dude, that part was so hard for me. Oh my god, that was like the first huge hurdle.
Oh, I also like how reloading works in this game.
The hold
Like
R, yeah.
Yes, you have to hold the button. It's just another little thing that makes it like panicky.
Yeah, it's super desperate. You're like fumbling the fucking
Yeah.
gun. Like you
Dude,
let go of
and
the R key.
I died a few times to not reloading an extra bullet, which is like perfect design.
So there was a few moments in this game where I was fighting humans, and I would shoot one in the head, and then I'd turn to shoot the other one, and my gun would click, and I'd be like, "What the fuck? I know I reloaded." And then I realized, oh wait a minute,
I'm not auto reloading when I click.
you have to hold the button. Which right away I was like, "Oh, that's cool. I like that."
Hmm.
But one thing I will say about this game is there's a certain point that, for me anyways, where it stopped being difficult. Like once you have all the guns, like you have the stun baton and the flamethrower and the shotgun and the revolver, I kind of felt like I didn't need to be careful anymore.
But
Really?
I kind of enjoy that for the last sprint though. I don't want to 10 hours in or however long being still crouch and gun 10 meters a minute, you know?
I don't know about if you guys played this way, but you know you don't have to crouch walk everywhere, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you can just walk
Yeah,
off.
yeah, yeah.
You can just walk.
Yeah, I did a lot of just normal walk on.
Like
sure,
running,
that's
don't
weird.
run.
Never press shift once in this
Don't
game.
ever use that function in the game.
It's a
Yeah,
trap.
seriously.
Is there a difference between crouching and walking?
Crouching, you
Not
can like,
always.
get below
Slower
stuff.
crouching.
Yeah, it's just
obviously in
visual,
line
like-
of sight.
Yeah, it's for hiding
Oh,
visually.
okay. Because I was crouching a lot because I wasn't sure, and that just led to more frustration because I have zero patience for this game apparently.
Yeah, the noise level is the same
Hmm.
between crouch walking and walk walking.
Also, something very video game. Like I know why they did it, but like bumping into stuff or knocking stuff over because apparently Amanda got thick junk. Because like I
Oh,
would
yeah,
always
when you're
be
just
fucking backing into stuff, knocking stuff
Crouching,
over.
you see a canister go flying 10 feet.
Yeah.
Dang!
So environmental noise like that doesn't trigger the alien, which is like suspension of disbelief, but also it would make the game miserable if every time you tripped over something, the alien was up your ass.
Here's a weird thought. Yeah, because I thought about that too. You can see your feet, but you can't see your own shadow.
She's a Dracula.
Yeah.
I have a shadow.
Look forward to Aliens Isolation Dracula versus Alien.
Dracula X edition.
I just thought of fear when you're saying you can't see your shadow. You can see your feet and your shadow in fear. What's fear?
Yeah,
That's fair.
that is the mark of a good game in my book.
Yeah.
Literally unplayable.
Um,
Dude, like, also the game's sound design. Did we talk about
Oh
that?
my
Uh,
God.
Everything.
Absolutely amazing.
I can't think of a game with better sound design, to be honest.
Oh my god.
Fear.
I know
Just kidding.
this is apples and oranges, but just going to Phasmophobia with you guys last night
Mhm.
was so night and day difference. I was like, oh man, this sounds like an indie game after playing this.
Yeah, I mean, it is.
It's not a knock against the game, it's just this game sounds really, really good.
yeah.
It does. Yeah,
Not-
the sound design is 10 out of 10 in this game. And so is the atmosphere and the visual design.
So watching Alien just now, like the final scenes where when Ellen Ripley is fucking up Nostromo, like setting off the self-destruct and everything, like the thing she does to set off the self-destruct, like pulling up the canisters with the screw thing and like pushing it to the side, pushing it back, like such a cool thing that you do that in this game for Sevastopol.
Yep.
But I noticed the sound of like the alarm and the yellow light that kind of spins is the same sound that when you get ejected by the warden guy. Like it's the same
It is,
alert
yep.
town and the same yellow light. I'm like, oh
It
my
is.
god.
Yep. I know, dude. Like this game, every single moment in this game, there were moments like that for me where I was like stunned by the attention to detail and the referencing of the movie.
Did you guys?
Good.
I was just gonna say it's on the track of that. So you finish what you're saying, and then I'll just add the little thing.
I already forgot.
Fuck. Sorry. Sorry.
Nice going.
Sorry. I just
It's-
remembered a
it's
thing
fine.
that I saw. I
It's
'cause I was
fine.
looking shit up about the movie.
Say it.
And do you guys see that human who had a magazine shoved in their mouth?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
I thought that was funny because that was one thing I saw from the movie. I was like, damn, these guys really were just like.
Androids love shoving magazines in
Yeah.
mouths.
Well, I think something that I heard about like the movie is that kind of like, it's made by like a lot of the stuff was inspired by H.R. Geiger, who I like outside of just Alien, because it's like a lot of fiction that I like is inspired by his art, and a lot of it is very like
Penile.
actually. Yeah, it's
Very
I don't want to talk actually. I realize I don't want to talk about
anatomical.
it that much, maybe on the stream, but like, yeah, anatomical and I don't know. I just I actually didn't really feel like that was as much of a presence in this game, but I also wonder if maybe that's a good thing. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't feel as much H.R. Geiger influence playing this game
Yeah.
versus apparently how big of a deal it is in the movie.
Well, I think when you're introduced to the xenomorph in the original movie, there's a little more of it because it's kind of telling you what it is and what it does, what it's about, right?
Mm,
I think they assume when you play this game, you're already kind of familiar with it. And
yeah, I definitely was not.
like everything about the alien, like what they do to you, the way they look, like it's all that. What you mentioned about Geiger.
I mean, that alien do have some supple hips.
Oh,
I mean, the thing they shoot out of their mouth. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Speaking, oh yeah, sure. Speaking of the anatomy, did you guys realize they redid the legs for them?
Yeah, they're like demon legs. They're like
Yeah, it's
backward.
fascinating. A video I watched was explaining that they tried to make the alien 1-to-1, but it looked a little goofy doing the human legs that were
So,
in the,
yeah,
the
I
suit.
agree with
Definitely,
that because having just watched Alien, there's a lot of points where I'm like, wow, it looks like a dude in an alien suit, and it looks
Yep.
really goofy. And I'm
when it
like,
gets launched from the ship, I've seen that scene. That's like, that's a dude in a suit. Like,
yeah, it's
The part where the alien turns quick to hit one of the crew members, I forgot who it was, with the tail. Like when they're loading the oxygen tanks,
Mhm.
like it looks like fucking Power Rangers. dude.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, 1979, like all right, but now I'm like, ooh.
I don't know what you're talking about. It looks amazing.
No, so it's funny. In the movie, Ash talks about like the purity of the alien, like that it kills. It's like perfect at what it does. But in Alien, the alien is so like because they couldn't. It wasn't like the video game. It's so clunky and doofy, and like it's not really. It's scary in the fact that it's in the air vents and it's a killing machine. But every time you see it, it's like, oh man, it's so dumb. And then the ending scene when it's on the shuttle with her and it's like trying to crawl out, it just looks so stupid. And I'm like, this is not the alien I know from Alien Isolation. That's fast and it's deadly and it's quick and it runs. And like, this is some creeper grandma alien that's super dangerous. I'm like,
Maybe it's because that one came from Kane, and Kane was a bitch.
yeah, I'd believe it.
The xenomorph on the Sevastopol came from an athletic person. I don't know. I'm just talking shit.
But
But yeah, that was the product of when the movie was made.
oh
at
yeah,
the time.
and it's definitely. I'm like, if it could have been more like quick and like scary and dangerous, like it would have been. Like I love the practical effects, like the way the alien looks, but like as a actual threat, like it never really moves in Alien. Like it's
Right.
standing in front of what is her name? Like the short-haired lady.
Yeah.
And Parker, like Parker stands behind it and it turns around and gets him, and then the girl's standing still and it stabs her with his tail. It never really chases anybody, and it catches Dallas in the vents. Like, it never hunts anyone, and I'm like, huh. But then obviously Aliens and Alien 3 and all that, like everything, it ramps up. But I mean, the original Alien, I'm like,
It's probably held back by the technology.
Oh
and
yeah,
everything at the
absolutely.
time. Like, I think that's probably the main thing is like they're like, hey, if we the wide shots just look like crap, so let's just keep it zoomed in, quick flashes. And that
Also,
was effective.
there is truth to not if you don't show your monster, it can actually make it scarier.
Mhm.
Like demystification. That's something,
Yeah,
Yeah,
Like, that's
less is
and
Yeah,
that definitely works in favor of the alien in the original movie for sure.
absolutely.
I feel like the alien in the game, though, like it actually seemed to me like I never got demystified by looking at it. It always moved away in a very like smooth and very.
Oh yeah, when you see the
terrifying
tail slide past you as you're hiding under a desk, you're like, oh, I'm about to
Tail
fucking die.
has colliders. I tried walking past this thing, tiptoeing, just grazed its tail, and one frame
Yep.
later, I'm getting
Instant
stabbed through the
kills you.
heart.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, if you touch it at all, it's an instant death.
It's such a good detail. Like the tail is not useless.
Look at this keyboard.
Super
love it.
cool mechanical
want one.
keyboard.
I want that keyboard.
Dude,
I also want mist to shoot out of every part of my house and aliens to come out of the ceiling.
Dude, it's funny you say that.
But yeah, this game, there were definitely parts that kind of put me off and bothered me a little. More so near the end. Oh my god, look at that tail.
the sound of it like moving across that like graded floor.
Yeah,
too,
just
is, like,
sliding.
like it's like tick, 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 tick. It's
One of the
like,
coolest things is when you think you're good and you're moving past it, and then all of a sudden you hear the rapid footsteps, and you're
Yep.
like,
or the
Yeah.
screeching, the screech lives
yeah.
in my nightmares, and that's why I found that's fucking nest part, dude. Oh my god.
Darth, did you ever get got by a vent above you that it was in drooling?
Oh, a few times.
Yeah, I will forever remember the first time that got to me. I'm like, huh, what's in this vent? Like, total lapse of like brain processing, thinking, why is this vent leaking? And like walking under it, just getting grabbed, and it scared the shit out of me.
I was
It's-
kind of aware of that from watching you play, to be honest.
It's so cool that they when the game decides to do that, because there's a lot of the times when you're sneaking around and you're like, okay, I'm not gonna walk into it, really obvious. There's also times where it's like alarms going off and you're running and you're like, oh, I almost just ran into that thing's right above me right now. I love that. Also, it makes you pay attention to ceilings, which games fail to do a lot.
Yeah,
So it's a
ceilings.
great thing.
Yeah, remember.
Let's make a
ceilings.
genre all about ceilings.
Top 10 video game ceilings.
VVV.
Gamers never look up.
Yeah, VVV.
Oh yeah, you're right.
VVV.
I just can't get over like the world building like for Sevastopol, like Darth and I were
Yes.
talking about it, but how the handheld motion tracker like gets jury rigged for like the alien, but the reason it exists is to hunt down rats on the space station. Like it's for getting them before they infest the station.
Oh, I
Like,
didn't remember that. That's
yeah,
cool.
there's like billboard things like that you look. It's like find them before they spread, and it's the tracker. And you're like, oh,
Yeah, rats would be terrible on a space station.
oh god. Just
Another
watch it.
thing that I was going to mention when we were talking about world building, there's a lot of times where if you take the time to read logs, it kind of tells you, like, it gives you hints about what to do and where to go, like what you need to do in certain parts. And that's very old school, like game design for me. I think, and I love that in games, like old Resident Evils, for example, where you can find the documents and you read them and they have hints,
They're actually
clues.
helpful.
Yeah, I think that's fucking awesome. As opposed to the big thing popping up on screen and being like, "Hey, you press a button to," and then Kratos' as kid shows up and starts.
And then the talking head starts talking
Ripping,
shit.
yeah.
And then it gets soundtrack of the year for no good reason.
We're talking about
Yeah,
good
we-
video games today, guys. Well, subjectively.
God of War Ragnarok is a step back from its predecessor and objectively garbage. I will die on that hill.
Yeah, sure. I'll agree with that.
Oh, looking over, can we talk about how fun doing everything in this game was? Like opening a door, you gotta fucking play the
Reminded me of
Atari
Metroid
mini
Prime 3,
game.
except that I didn't have motion controls fighting me, so I was like, it's going. It's smoothly going.
Yeah, dude, and it was super immersive. Like I played with the controller, and like if you used your right hand for something, you used R2. You know,
Yeah.
or like
yeah.
both hands, L2 and R2.
Mm-hmm.
One gripe though I had was the cutter like mini game where you like cut the panel was really weird. I would like always get stuck on the corners, and I felt like
Yeah,
that
it can be a little wonky when you
that
have
was
to
a bit
shift directions.
underbaked, I think, especially with the expectation that you have to be doing it quickly.
No,
Like
that thing's cool, man.
It's cool, but I wish it was more like like how like
You know you can go in either direction.
I actually didn't know that. I always went because I always went clockwise. But
Another thing I forgot to bring up with the androids, like
Oh yeah.
the fact that they're less human, like they're obviously not human. I think it makes them scarier. Like
You're
they're-
becoming
the way-
hysterical. Like, oh.
The way they look, like when you're walking in a dark corridor and you just see those
The
glowing
white eyes.
Yeah,
Or when
They
go
turn red
out
when
of
they
nowhere.
aggro.
Please
They're
come back.
just like-
Running is dangerous.
yeah. Let me kill you because it's dangerous.
And then I love that their dialogue gets more threatening because Apollo is getting more threatening, and they're like, "I will find you." I'm like,
Mhm.
Yeah.
They're like getting impatient.
yeah. And
Yeah,
then
it's really cool the way that the three enemy types mix.
well, the first time
Yeah.
I like, and it was still cool in this one because I forgot when exactly it happens when you get the mix of Working Joes and the Xenomorph, and you don't know the Xenomorph is there yet, and you see
when
a
you're
Working
doing the
Joe.
lockdown, yeah.
Yeah, the Working Joe says like unrecorded species, and you're like, what? And it's like logging this for you're like, what? And
I
it's
don't
like,
remember that. That's a really
yeah,
good
they have
detail,
dialogue
though.
lines for seeing the alien because they don't know what it is, and you're like,
Yeah, there's a part where you have to lock it down, and I was in that staircase that was just on the screen, and I'm like, I can hear it, and there's 3 dots, and I don't know if it's above or below me, and I'm like peeking around corners, like, oh god, it's a synthetic, I can move forward. And I love that. That was such good, unique tension I've never felt in a game.
yeah. Just that moment of figuring, I'm like, wait, what does that line mean? Wait,
Yeah,
it's talking about the
That's awesome.
alien, isn't it? And you're like, oh fuck.
It was one of the scariest sections of the game, in my opinion. Like the server room with like all the shelves are like pushed over, and you're like crawling through them, and like there's the fucking synths and the alien. If you get seen by any of them, you're fucked. That was great. I will say though, I found them, at least on hard mode, comically ridiculously durable. Like shooting them like 3 times with the shotgun, and they would be like, "Well, I'm gonna keep coming now." It's like, bro, like come on.
Yeah.
Best way to
Nice,
kill
dude.
synths is the stun rod and the wrench.
yeah, I
Yeah.
was doing that too.
And then they show up with the hazmat Joes, and you're like, well, fuck me, I guess.
Yeah, that's where
I
the
thought it
bolt
was
gun
cool
comes
that
in.
you could,
Oh, the
like-
bolt gun.
Yeah, that thing
The
was.
bolt gun was
fucking
interesting.
I never used it on the alien. I kind of
It's
wish.
It just
hard.
beanlines and kills you. It's
Yeah.
the
Oh.
one time I did it.
It
be
just
cool if it,
pisses
like-
it off.
I don't know, dude. It seems pretty. If
It
Like,
will stun
that
it.
doesn't
It'll
make
make it
sense, actually.
recoil,
okay, that's good because
but
the shotgun,
it buys you about 3 seconds. So.
Okay, that's fair. I'll take it.
Oh, it's something about shooting the alien. So originally they had planned, like it's kind of neat. Like you see, if you shoot the alien, like it does bleed, and the blood will make like holes on the ground.
Yeah, like
Oh,
yeah,
what?
it does the acid blood.
Yeah.
And originally they planned for that to be a mechanic, but found it entirely way too ridiculous and scrapped the whole fucking idea.
Yeah,
That's
that
kinda
is
fair, I guess.
ridiculous.
Also, it was supposed
That'd
to be
so
third
cool to make
person
in the
early in
sequel.
development.
I'm really glad it wasn't.
Yeah,
what was gonna be it?
this game was going to be in third person.
Oh, that
Oh,
was.
Yeah, and
God.
they got pretty far in development. We're like, wait a minute.
No, dude, the first person peeking over a little table to see him walking into the room. No, dude, it's just.
Yeah, this game was ahead of its time. Like, first-person horror wasn't super popular until PT, right?
I mean,
Yeah,
when
that's
did,
a good point.
Amnesia.
when did the the original
Resident
Amnesia is the
Evil
first
7
one? I think.
was
Oh,
like 2
okay.
years later, right?
Sorry, what?
Resident Evil 7 was like a couple years after this.
It was like 5 years after it, I think.
Oh, geesh.
Because PT came out after this, and then Resident Evil 7 was like heavily inspired by PT.
Yeah.
I know we briefly spoke about the AI. One thing I wanted to say about it is there are few and far AAA games in between that actually put their budget towards it. It's like you can just have a multiplayer lobby, not make complicated AI and just have profit. I just have to give respect points for them making the AI, like spending so much time on the AI. You just don't see it at this caliber even 10 years later, really. I'm sure it exists, but I don't see it ever, especially
That's how
with
you can-
something one off like an Alien. Like, it's not human behavior, it is its own thing.
Right, yeah. I think that's how you can tell that a group is passionate about what they're making. It's not just about making money. And I mean, you can see that doesn't always work. Look at fucking Concord.
Oof.
That shit costs like $40 million to make, and their only goal was to make as much money as possible, as fast as possible.
Wasn't
And
it like
backfired?
10 times that or something completely stupid?
Yeah, it was something outrageous. It was like 400 million or something like that. Yeah.
Jesus.
But
I can
like
make
their entire goal was to make a game for profit, to make money as much as they can, instead of making art that they love and believe in, which this game is. Like, it's just so obvious that they love the source material and they took it very seriously and showed a ton of respect. And that translated into the game, and a big part of the reason I love this game so much. Like, I think a lot of the things that Chris mentioned and Holden mentioned, I was able to overlook because I'm just so in love with the Alien franchise and
One
universe.
real quick thing I want to say on that is there's actually very few I would change about this game. There was like friction, but at the end of the day, I do love what I played. If that makes sense. It's like critique that comes from a place of love.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay.
I'll also say, like, even somebody who didn't like it at all, I can appreciate it, and I can see that it's like very well crafted, and like you said, yeah, obviously a lot of passion went into it. It's just, yeah, I got no enjoyment out of it.
That's fair. That's totally fair.
Yeah, I would
And
have.
I understand it completely.
I would have dropped this game if it wasn't for Video Game Book Club for sure.
Yeah, I really did want to finish it. I couldn't force myself to do it.
Oh, I get it. And you shouldn't either. If you're really, really having a miserable time, you shouldn't keep playing it. But, well, say shit. Yeah, someone talk quick.
Budget
no,
game.
Super,
AI.
not trying to defend the game and its weakest points, like what you were saying, but like when the aliens like up your ass, like the leash titans. So I think what it is then is that is right around the time, and actually in the alien nest too. There are 2 aliens, and it is very dire. So at that point, like I'm like, are they trying to say like, hey, you distracted one alien, here's the other? Because
Maybe, yeah, it's
there
possible.
there
That's
are
what I thought.
yeah, there's only 2 times you actually see 2 aliens, and one is in the nest, and there's a scripted alien that just kind of paths, and then one is like the alien that wants to kill you. And then same thing with the final segment when you're trying to get onto the or out to the Torrens, is there's an alien scouting that area, and then the one chasing you.
Yeah.
So
okay.
like the implication could be that there's a second alien.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah,
I
but
just found Mission 17 to be super frustrating. And
yeah,
I was
it
getting
is very
pissed.
aggressively just in your face.
Yeah, all that flamethrower ammo I said I had because I played like a doofus. I went through that fast on that mission. I think I had like
yeah.
700 saved up by then.
Damn.
Yeah. Use that thing. What?
Dude, I have found out from book club I play every game like a weirdo, dude.
I feel
Yeah.
that.
You're a freak, dude. How did you succeed? I had to use the flamethrower frequently. something that was cool too. Whenever you use the flamethrower and you like had it out, and the alien would like have the standoff with you. That was
Oh yeah,
fun.
just aiming it and it's just walking toward you.
Yeah,
Oh, man,
slowly.
that's it's probably the coolest thing I've seen in a horror game.
It's
also
yeah,
cool how it can like hit you and not kill you. Like, when
Mhm.
you spray
Yeah.
with fire.
absolutely.
Yeah, it's like fuck you.
Yeah.
I'll deal with you later.
It also you can survive it, and sometimes it'll just say, I don't
Yeah, if you're at
think
low
it can
health,
kill
it'll
you.
just drop you dead.
Yeah. Another thing that, like, again in Mission 17, I was using a lot of pipe bombs and Molotov cocktails. There were a few times where I had like 95% health, and I threw a Molotov cocktail, and I was nowhere fucking near it. And
Yeah,
it
then
just
you just died.
killed my ass, dude.
Yeah, same.
Really? That never happened to me.
I was so, oh dude, I was so pissed during Mission 17. Like I had this plan. Like it jumps out, it jumps through the window near that air hockey table, right? And you have to go all the way back to the other side to reset the generator.
Mhm.
And I had a sequence of item usage that I was doing to make it down the hall into the other room. But the problem was, between those items, there were times where the alien would just randomly fucking drop down in front of me in the hallway,
Mhm,
where there's
yeah.
nowhere to run and
You're
nowhere to
like,
hide.
what do I do now?
And
Was
you
I
just die.
supposed to have been like camping a locker? I do.
Just
Okay,
fucking
one
die.
thing I do like about that, where you're like, okay, I'm dead. There's nothing I can do. It's kind of like there are literal times where there's nothing you can do, but there are a lot of times in hindsight where I was like, I could have like kept my eye on this or like been close to this desk while I was like looking around the room,
Yeah.
and that's also a feeling I don't get in horror games. So
Or,
I appreciate its unfairness a lot.
and like also sometimes I would like try to get through an area. I'd use like 2 items, and I'd be like, well, maybe I'll try again, only using 1 item this time. It gave me like I was like, when I died, I would be like, well, okay, well maybe I could try to use less resources this time around with the
Mhm.
information I have, which made me not get as frustrated at certain points. Other points still got very frustrated for sure.
The only frustration I experienced was that one part at the end. That's it. And it was just because the alien never left you the fuck alone. It would
Yeah.
hop in the vent and literally 3 seconds later hop right back out. And I'm like, how am I like, come on, man. Like, give me a fucking break here. But yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Like, the alien's super pissed by this point. You've literally killed, it's implied that you killed the queen and you destroyed the nest. It's
Mhm.
fucking pissed. So it makes sense that it's more aggressive.
I do like how it feels like it's all or nothing. Like they never really feel like they care about their own safety
Oh.
when tracking people, but it really feels like it gives no Fs at that point.
Yeah, like it just wants to kill you, and that's that, and it's gonna try as hard as it can, and it does.
Yeah,
That being
it does
said,
a pretty good job.
I think
Yes,
it's so
it does.
terrifying how even though the ship is on fire, exploding, it's just
Still
fucked.
hunting you just the same.
It's still hunting you, and they still try to make a little nest. Like they're just
Yeah, it's like, oh, we got to make our backup nest as
Yeah.
soon as possible. Reminds me of the wasps I killed in my nest a couple months ago.
yeah, literally.
And
and
then when the-
That's exactly what they're like, and it's just scary to me how fucking durable and resilient they are. It's awesome.
There's all those little moments like that really long annoying spacewalk, but when you're walking back to Sevastopol and you see the
Yeah.
alien like crawling up the wall and into the vent, because like there's a couple points in the game where you're like, oh thank god I don't have to fucking deal with an alien, and then like you just see that and it's like about that and you're like motherfucker.
Alien
Uh,
time.
And then and probably one of my favorite little dumb things, but it was so great. Like every time you put on that stupid spacesuit and you have to deal with that animation that's like that canned animation, and then there's the final one where it's like, yep, let me look at the helmet, put the fucking thing on, but you're looking at the helmet and then the spit, like the drool drops down on it, you're like, oh fuck.
I did like that presentation, even though I was like, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This now?
Maybe I thought the game was gonna be over. I was like, okay.
There were a couple times where it seemed like the game was gonna end and it didn't.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's a little bit. Like
Yeah, I
that.
think near the end it kind of felt like they were like a lot of times, like when you're doing something creative and you're reaching the end of it, sometimes it's hard to not be like, I just want to finish this, and like you like half-ass the end of whatever it may be, whether it's writing or painting or a song. Or it kind of felt like that a little bit with this game.
Yeah, and they're
Like it kind of
fuck
felt
it, do
like
everything.
like the very end kind of felt lazy, like when you're dodging the train and crawling through the debris and the elevator falls. Like it almost feels like you're playing like a rail shooter. And like,
Yeah, I agree.
like it's just unnecessary. Like we get it. Like she's surviving a crazy situation, and like yeah, it's neat. Whatever. The train is fast and it almost hits her, and the elevator falls. But like man, it really just drug on.
Yeah, because it's
know,
like,
that
check
section
out
really
this set
didn't add
piece. Check out
anything.
this set piece. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
no, let me just do the thing.
That was convenient. Oh, that was convenient. Oh,
But that being said, I do appreciate, like, I would argue like 2/3 of the game. You know, you could cut out because they're just sort of again to facilitate game moments. But
Mm-hmm.
then going back to the argument of like how it is as a game, like it offers a lot of hours worth of just cool alien scenarios, and it's a bit contrived how many there are and how ridiculous it is. But again, has those major ebbs and flows that keep it interesting and worth playing and like worth being an 8 to 12 hour experience.
Yeah, I
8 to 12?
Yeah, I spent a long time on this game.
No, that's short.
Dude, that's very short.
yeah, I was about to say that's usually how long it takes me to beat it, and I've beaten
I
it.
think I don't know how long my playthrough was, but I want to say it was like 12 hours.
I'm checking you out. on
Mine,
Steam.
I'll tell you right now.
'Cause I didn't play it on Steam, so I don't know.
Oh, fuck.
Mine was 24.7 hours.
Yeah,
Is
it
it
was-
man, maybe
Yeah,
I
it was-
played it for a lot longer and
I was
didn't
gonna say
realize.
this
That
game
must
is
have
like
been really
a
good time.
16, 20-hour game.
Sheesh.
I had like
Yeah.
40 hours.
Oh my god.
There was many hours spent motionless in lockers.
Yeah, or like in a situation where I would like just pause and then procrastinate for like an hour and a half.
I'm actually a little perplexed at my own perception of the time not having the Steam hours. That's
Well, what did you plan on?
the Epic I got. A few years
Epic
ago
doesn't
for
keep
free.
track of your playtime?
Take a look here real quick.
It has to. It definitely
Did this
has
did this
to.
come out on 360?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
Yeah, it was a. Yeah.
PlayStation
game.
3, PlayStation 4, Windows, Xbox 360, and Xbox One. I think it has a Switch version or something. It does.
Yes,
it does have a Switch
It
version.
does.
Oh,
I bet that
accidentally
looks
launched it.
great.
I hate
I bet
Epic.
that takes everything good about this game and just shits on it.
Alien is just like a black cylinder with ooze coming out of it.
Okay, now I'm curious what that version does look like.
Probably like the Xbox 360 version, but worse.
Delightful.
The first time I played it was on PS4, and it looked pretty good. It looked pretty good from what I remember, anyways.
Oh, I had 24 hours, but I probably spent like 4 of those on my first playthrough. So, yeah, I probably played like a 20-hour playthrough. That's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
this
weird.
game
It's
is
a long horror
intentionally
game.
slow. Like,
The game doesn't feel long until you get to like the final parts, and then you're like, "How long have I been playing this?" Man, it looks-
it's a long one for a horror game.
yeah, yeah.
Horror
Which,
games usually aren't that long.
yeah, which I guess speaks to its, I guess, staying power.
Yeah, I mean, I do
Yeah.
think it could have been a bit shorter, but also
So do I.
I was pretty engaged for a lion's share of that, decent runtime.
Yeah, I didn't like near the very end of the game. I was like, all right, come on, just fucking
I would say it was only like an hour and a half worth of like gameplay that I think I was starting to feel like it was overstaying its welcome, which is pretty good for a war game that I usually get sick of it really fast. So.
Do we know why the sequel only just now got greenlit, or however long ago?
Probably because of the movie.
They had a lot of Total War games to make.
That's true.
Yeah.
Those
Yeah.
are 2 great points.
But and also this game has a cult following. Like there's active discussion on the internet about this game, like daily. Like people still talk about this game all the time. And it has
Well-
mods too. There's a modding scene for this game as well.
A little
Uh-huh.
bit of research I did was showing like the game keeps doing well every year, and I find
Yeah,
I
people
find that
discover it.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's kind of interesting because games don't really have that staying power in today's age.
I think a lot of that probably you could credit to its source material.
Yeah.
Totally. That's a great point. Yeah.
Yeah, because people love Alien and they're like learning of this game that they missed. That
Yeah.
people are
New
saying is
Alien
good.
movie and game comes out.
Yeah,
Oh, should I play this? No, go play Alien Isolation. Yeah.
That's
yeah, I am so excited for sequel 2.
yeah. Well, that's talking about that just reminded me. I was out to like lunch dinner with my dad, and I was talking about like something made us talk about. Oh, I said when I was gonna go home. He was like, "What are you doing later?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm finishing a game we're playing for." And I was like telling him a book club, and he was like, "Oh, what game is it?" And I was like, "Well, it's based on Alien." And he was like, "Wait, the movie?" And I was like, "Yeah." So he actually came home with me and watched me beat like
Oh,
like
that's cool.
20%. And he was like, "Wow, this game's awesome! Like that's so crazy." And he's like, "I didn't know like people still cared about Alien." And I was like, "Dad, there's a new Alien movie." So I think he went home and watched Alien Romulus.
That's cool,
That's
Danny. I had a
awesome.
very similar experience, like pretty much the exact same. And yeah, I think that it's just
Yeah. It's like people don't
widely-
know this game exists, and it's people who still like Alien and sci-fi stuff. So yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense to me that people like stumble across this. And they're like, wait a minute, what?
totally.
Yeah, and like this game, another reason I think it can do well in this day and age is because it was ahead of its time.
Yeah.
Like just straight up ahead of its time. Like especially for the horror genre, and like, like a lot of people will go back and play. Like I was talking about this in the Discord. Like people will go back and play Resident Evil Remake and be like, "This sucks. The
Oh,
camera
man.
is stupid. The controls suck. There's no tutorials." Like this game, when it was made, it was doing things that are standard now, and I think that probably also helps. It's slowly growing popularity among players who don't even know it exists.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I guess that could be a good thing and a bad thing because I do despise a lot of modern gaming tropes.
Yeah.
But that's
and
just me.
I going back to like I appreciate a AAA company doing AI so phenomenally, the level, like the art and all that, the attention to detail. It's super refreshing to see a game of this caliber still getting recognition years later.
Yeah, the
That warms
developers
my
are
heart.
probably really proud of it, and they should be. Like, it's probably really cool. Like, you made this thing so long ago, and you still every now and then get the treat of hearing about a new group of people discovering it and enjoying it. Like, that probably feels really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder how much of the team is still there and will be working on the sequel.
Yeah, that is a really good question too.
question.
10 years
Yeah.
later.
Yeah. And there's another thing, speaking of that, this game, they got the original voice cast from the original movie.
Oh yeah.
Oh, really? I
Yeah.
was gonna ask that when you mentioned the Disturbo voice slugs.
Yep.
That's
They
cool.
have every single one of them.
That's
Except
pretty cool.
I think Tom Skerritt too. They did get him. Yeah. They're all there. And
That's
there's a
pretty cool.
DLC that takes place on the Nostromo where you literally play as Ellen Ripley and you are
Is Sigourney Weaver in it?
Yeah, she is.
she is.
She voices and is the character.
yeah, they
Can you-
use her face to
Maybe
make
I'll
the
check it
model
out.
and everything.
Woo!
Yeah, well, I mean, I think we've pretty much gone over everything, right?
Yeah, I think it's a good time for closing out. So since I went last, I'll go ahead and go first. But it's like we talked about it. This game is a love letter to Alien, like, and it shows in kind of every single way. And then on top of that, also does its own thing within Sevastopol and like with its characters, like Amanda and I'm blanking on the synth's name in this.
Samuels?
Samuels, that's it. I'm like
Samuels.
Ash Bishop, like everybody's name. Like it kind of does its own thing with the characters in this. Like some are side characters that are kind of whatever, like just set piece characters to fulfill their role, but as a like its own thing, like this could have not been Alien, and it still would have been fantastic. But the mesh of the two, just for me, like it's so seamless and like enjoyable, and I can't look forward to this. I'm looking forward to the sequel so much that it scares me. Like that,
Yeah.
I hate that feeling because
Gonna
it's
be like
like
Deadly
if it's gonna be
Premonition 2.
bad, I am going to be destroyed. So it's just like, oh. But cautiously optimistic because man, Alien Isolation is such a great video game experience and like horror game. Like I don't think I've played a game that makes me more like tense and has like, maybe it doesn't have the biggest scares, but overall like the tension and like dread, I don't think I've played another game that matches it.
Score.
Well said. Well said.
Oh, score? This is like the spacewalk, the ending, it does bring it down a little bit. And, like, there are sections that are like, so, but I'm still like, this game is an 8.5 for me. This game is amazing.
Nice.
Fair.
So like I said in the beginning, I literally the first time I played this game for free, I burned out a few hours in, and when Donnie suggested it, I was like, I need to do this game justice. I hear it's good. I'm sure there's a lot to respect out of it, and it's funny because I came out of it like still feeling like not that I went through a slog, but I did something that was tedious, and also like I said, living or like surviving in an alien infested space station would be tedious if you did that act justice. And again, mirroring what I was saying earlier on that is I really wouldn't change anything about that, so much so that it's sort of making me recontextualize what horror games can be in terms of gameplay loops and feeling out of control and the tug and pull and all that. So it's a really cool game. I am super glad I actually finished it and gave it the respect this game deserves. And I would say it's an objective 8 and a subjective 9.
Wow. That is a higher score than I thought you'd give it. That's cool.
Do I go next, or is it?
Yeah. Go
Okay.
for it.
Yeah, so for all the reasons we talked about and more, I thought this game was just really high quality in a lot of very basic video game kind of ways. The way it tells the story, you know, the way it looks, the way it sounds. But to me, this game was really like my own journey in overcoming fear in certain situations and surviving. And I've never had a video game make me feel that way so much before, and so I feel like that makes me feel like it must be special, even though I didn't necessarily enjoy the way it made me felt, I should say. So even though the game had some sort of like jankiness to it, some stuff that kind of annoyed me, that you guys like already said, like, you know, the slow walking sections, some of the jankiness I talked about, like some you know, like when you like use the torch, it wouldn't work super well sometimes. The leash was annoying at times, and the ending also kind of stomped on my own personal journey with the game. Despite that, the way it makes me feel is so unique and evocative. It makes me give, like, overall have a really high opinion of the game, and just by the fact that it was so novel in playing, I'm gonna give it an 8.5 because it's just so unique, and that's kind of why I play video games, is to have unique experiences, and it was one of the most unique I've ever experienced.
Woo!
That's
Very
cool.
nice.
Yeah,
like that.
like you talking about like how it made you feel like, and it was an experience for you, like that, like it was beyond just what the game had to offer, but kind of like outside, like your interactions, like, and it makes me think that's what video games are about, or that's what, not just video games, but like what's the term, like art, or like anything, like anything expressive, like it's supposed to like evoke something from you. So it's like you said, if this game did that, then it kind of hit the nail on the head with what it was trying to do, at least in that regard. Excuse me.
Absolutely.
I'll go next so we don't end on a downer. I was really looking forward to this game. Really wanted to play it for a long time. I respect it. I really wish I liked it more, but the gameplay loop did nothing but frustrate and bore me. I know I probably approached it wrong, but I just didn't have the patience for it. My rating is a Bill Paxton game over man, followed by the sound of a toilet flushing.
I can respect
That's
that.
fair. That's fair. So, I loved 98% of this game. Absolutely just adored it. Like I said earlier, I had a hard time putting it down. Like, I'd come home from work and eat dinner and do a few things, and I'd sit down and play this game, and I'd look at the clock and it was like fucking midnight, and I'm like, oh shit.
Oh, David.
Like, I just got so completely immersed and sucked into this game's world that the time just fucking drained away, and it really like did it for me, like as far as a horror game and an alien game, because there's a lot of alien games out there, and I would say most of them are probably not that good.
It's funny. This is the
unfortunately.
only Alien game I've ever played.
Really,
Yeah.
there's a lot, and a lot of them are kind of shitty. But yeah, this game I think it's most true to the source material. It does justice to the source material, and if you're a huge fan of it, like it just it checks all the boxes as far as like environment and aura and feeling. But like the gameplay loop, like Chris said, I liked it for the most part, but there was a certain point in the game, even before mission 17, where I was getting pissed, where whenever the alien would show up, it just became like a routine. Like, I would look around, okay, there's either a desk or a locker, or like I'm gonna hit it with fire. Like, it just became routine. Like, it was no longer like panicky, oh shit. Like, I was like, oh, it's the alien, and I would just deal with it and keep going. And like, I understand like what they've achieved with the alien AI and the way it works and the way you interact with it it's pretty great, especially for the time. But for me, I felt like the alien needed a little more when it comes to the way it behaves and the way it hunts you, because there's only like really a few different situations that you can find yourself in with the alien. Like, you're either gonna hide or you're gonna leave, and the hiding is like, there's only like 2 or 3 different options. Like, I mean, you can distract it too, but it all becomes very routine. I feel like the alien should have had a few more tricks up its sleeve to kind of make it seem less like it's a video game.
Especially over 20 hours, yeah.
Yeah, and that didn't bother me a whole lot, but it kind of like near the end, like I was a little bummed because it stopped being tense. There was a point in the game where there was no more tension. It was just me trying to not get seen by the alien or the androids, and that was really it. And like, I stopped being careful at a certain point, and I would die, and I just reload my save. No big deal, whatever. Like, there's a million fucking save points in this game. I feel like maybe there should have been less, honestly. I don't know in Nightmare if there's
Oh yeah,
less.
there are quite a few. Sometimes it is interesting.
I
Everywhere,
appreciated
dude.
that a lot.
I did too in a way, but like, it kind of felt like it made it took away from the tension, because like, you survive this part with the alien, and it's like I just saved, I need to survive this part and move on, and then as soon as you survive one tiny little encounter with it, and there's another save point. It's kind of like using save states, like abusing save states, I should say, in an emulator. Like, you make a jump in Mario and save, and then you make another jump and save. Like, there are some parts of this game that felt that way because there are too many save points.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could literally run back halfway through an objective. I did that at times.
Yeah, and I mean, I understand why they put so many. And there were some save points where I was like, whew, boy, that's nice. Thank you. But my love for the Alien franchise kind of allowed me to overlook a lot of the downsides of this game. And I loved it. I fucking loved every moment except for the end. And if I had to give it a rating, I'd probably give it an 8. An 8. Not an 8.5, an 8. out of 10.
Yeah.
Love it.
But yeah, I'm just like I said, I'm very happy for Creative Assembly. I'm glad that they get to, continue their like journey like with the Alien series, and you're welcome, by the way. No, I'm just but cautiously optimistic. It's in good hands, but Chris was saying like how much of that team is there, like are they gonna have the same director? So like I can't wait to see it, and hope the best for it, but remains to be seen. But tune in 4 years when we play Aliens Isolation versus Dracula or whatever. But no, I'm glad we played it. I'm glad we did another spooky game for Halloween. I'm glad we did a spooky game that is actually fucking scary and not Clock Tower. Scary for all the wrong reasons.
Dude,
Clock Tower's better
scared
than this
me
game.
more.
How dare you?
I was waiting for that the whole
I'm
episode.
about to vote you off this island.
Oh, that's funny.
But yeah, with that wrapped up, how do you gents feel? We go to everybody's
Dude,
favorite part,
I've been
Oh,
waiting
shit.
2
the
months
wheel.
for this.
All
So
right.
it's wheel time, baby.
It is wheel time, but there's something about the wheel time that I wanted to ask you guys. So Darth was the last one to get a game drawn to life. That means we take Darth's picks off of the wheel, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So that would be Pokemon TCG, Mega Man 2, and Sonic Spinball.
Oh yeah, baby.
What is this noise I'm hearing? Apparently, Picker Wheel has music.
Thank God you took Professor Dr. Chaos off, Darv.
Yeah, I know, right? I was like, I do not want to fucking play that game.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. I was like,
Is this it though? Are we finally gonna get it?
no.
Oh
it's not
God, I know what
never
you're
gonna
talking
happen.
about, but God, he's hoping
I'm
we
talking about
don't.
abusing save states.
Yeah. All right. Oh, so I will say I did add a game. So I put Fallout 1 on here
Ooh,
because
Oh,
I feel
nice.
like Fallout 1 would be a very good book club game.
That's on my own personal list to play.
Yeah, so I have put that on here. So who's ready to get Castlevania 2 Simon's Quest?
Woo!
I swear
I've
to
been
God.
ready for
I
19
swear to
months.
God.
Yeah, for real though.
All right, spin that wheel.
Nobody react. My stream is slow.
I don't know what the fuck
What?
this game even
What is
is.
this? Wait, is this a DS game?
Oh yeah, this is
Oh,
a DS
I
game.
played this.
Whose pick is this?
That's
Mine.
Okay.
Dude, I've been wanting to check this series out.
This is the DS game, yeah.
Yes, DS
Interesting.
game.
Okay, I better get my fucking shit sorted out to have it at the proper aspect ratio, or Chris is gonna
Yeah.
freak out on me.
I watched that episode and
Dude.
oh man.
I haven't thought about this game in so long. That's all I can say about it.
Yeah, that is all you can say about it. All right, well,
Oh man.
that settles it. So Dragon Quest Monsters Rocket Slime is the next game for next month's video game book club. I like saying that name. I know literally nothing about this game. Zero. I didn't know it existed. I still
Yeah,
don't
it
think
sounds
it's
fake.
real. Yeah.
Is this like gonna be like an RPG that's maybe a little bit longer than?
I don't think you have to worry too much about time from what I recall, but I also haven't played this in like a little under 20 years, so
Cool.
I thought this game took 12 or 8 to 12 hours, so
That's perfectly reasonable, perfectly fair. All right, well, now that discussion has happened, game pick has happened, I feel like we are ready to move forward to next month's, and we got a month to play Dragon Quest Monsters Rocket Slime, figure out if it's even real, and we'll let Colin know. But yeah, Holden, Super, Chris, Darth, Colin in spirit with the Bigfoot flu. Thanks for joining. Good discussion. Like I said, I'm sorry you didn't enjoy it, Chris, but I do appreciate when we have a different viewpoint. So we're not just
Yeah.
sitting here glizzy glazing, if you will.
Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely. And I think, Chris, if I wasn't such a fucking pussy, with these types of games, I would have hated it as much as you did. Honestly.
Wow.
Well,
You
until
take that, Chris?
I'm the pussy. I call myself a pussy, not him.
I'm just being a dick. Sorry.
You
there
gonna
you
take that, Chris?
Yeah, you just gonna take that? All right.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, thank you as always. It's always a pleasure.
Always a
Yeah,
pleasure.
absolutely.
Good time.
Absolutely.
Hopefully it'll be a full regroup next time for episode 20. Almost 2 years of Video Game Book Club. Seriously
Oh,
casual.
what the
But
heck.
gents, I will catch you guys later. Thanks for joining.
Later,
Goodbye.
homies.
See ya.
GG.